All right, my gamers, my dear gear enthusiasts. It is Sunday, my dudes, nearing 5 p.m. CET, and that means the Weekly Bounty Hunters is here as well. Coming up in the next couple of hours, 3 to be usually exact, is 7 show matches, no skill bracket restrictions, open for everybody to participate. The name of the game is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins, as you may know. I'm your usual host, QK, and now let's get this party started, because we have a limited amount of time to hype up what is to come. Alright, so I guess welcome to Biken Hunters. We've got that beautiful goblin woman in the spotlight tonight as 5 players enter the fray piloting Biken. That might actually be the most single representation we've ever had for one particular character, aside from the the DLC release weeks. Lots of Finns in the roster as well. So if you got an affinity for either Bikens or the Perkele Warriors, stay tuned. Speaking of those Finns, I was actually rather pleased to notice that the so-called top seed of the evening is probably my boy Hoplan in the number 5 slot. A matchup that is often called quite tricky to play for Biken players. This lady seems to, need to work her way in after all versus characters that have better neutral and better range, and Nago definitely fits that bill. Answering the call in this particular position in order to attempt to slay the beast Hoplan will be Mox tonight. Or actually the other Biken matchup. So we got a Kai versus Biken, which is of course, Kai advantageous for the neutral part. We got Biken, which is, of course, even. Nago Biken, Nago advantage, and then Sin Biken. Yeah, all the Biken matches tonight are definitely the kind of matches where Biken has to work pretty hard. You're playing against a character who definitely has better neutral than you. And Biken is not, even though you have pretty good buttons as Biken, they're for specific ranges, usually close to mid ranges. Most effectively, so you gotta work to get into that mix-up distance, that set play distance, that nice distance where you have good rewards, as Biken does have some difficulties converting if she is too far away from the target as well. Making their debuts tonight on our humble little show are, let's see, I think Simppi in the number 1 slot, Biken of course, as you might have guessed, and also all hail Finland. Their opponent is Stealth, a Russian Kai player that we've had the pleasure of having on the show. I think this is the 4th time, always fighting tooth and nail for his previous Bounty Hunter matches. The other newcomer can be found in the slot number, is it 3? NoRaven, aka Noro, I believe. Team kill in multiple different ways in this one, as 2 Oni players and fellow Biken mains will have to duke it out between Noro and Lussu. Other peculiarities on the roster from the usual Biken and Nago Bounty Hunters nonsense is that we've got 2 Happy Chaos matchups, as well as a very rare Bedman versus Ram matchup towards the end of the show in the slot number 6. Sin, known for playing plenty of different characters, I think mostly Sin and Ram though, as far as I know. I think also just hit the milestone before the event and got their first character to, is it in-game character level 1000? So congratulations for that. I guess when you don't devote your time on one particular character, it's gonna be a little harder to get the playtime in. But that does have different kinds of benefits. Trying out many different characters, figuring out how they love to play the game, what kind of you know, Gatling routes, what kind of pressure routes they have. Very important stuff, especially when defending against those characters is concerned. But now, do we have time to hype up any more of these matchups? I guess not, because we're nearing the 5 p.m. CET mark, so let's direct our gaze to, not this one, but this one. We also call the players in the lobby, let them know it is nearing go time. Get our ID as well. Okay. And that should set us up for an opportunity to talk smack until we have players flowing into the lobby. So this one would be, I think, in the rookie skill bracket. So really important to take note of stuff like how consistent can players make their game plans. I think Simppi, rather a new name for me from the Finnish FGC. I saw them sort of saying that they've been browsing around some characters, and this biking character kind of looks fun, kind of looks cool. So not expecting, of course, any world top level, sick combo, sick gameplay kind of stuff. We're thinking about basics, and especially how can we apply those basics? How can we get like basic stuff that, how can we get most damage out of our hit confirms, single touches, that kind of stuff? Can we survive pressure? What is the safest way to get out of pressure? How often can we get out of pressure? And, you know, small things such as those ones. Neither one of these characters, you know, gets like super high damage without knowing the combo routes though. And I think especially for Biken, it is super important to get those combo routes out of control, because she really loves to, after the combo is complete, to go into set play if possible. Kai can get a lot of value out of just being really good at sort of keeping the opponent out. You could use fireballs as the ultimate classic fighting game, don't come at me kind of tool. And then when the opponent gets bored, ready for anti-air, and you can get so much value out of just having a simple Street Fighter game plan like that. Throw fireballs, or instead of fireballs, you could use your best long-reaching space controlling pokes as well. Eventually the opponent is, you know, gonna get sort of bored of not being able to get close to you, and the most natural response is to try to jump over your pokes. Let's see, using movement as, is a super important factor as well in fighting games, and I think especially in rookie brackets you see much more, you know, maybe jumping around, maybe moving around with special moves rather than just using your movement. Alright, finding the plus frame super. Can't find the hit there, and speaking of movement, Stealth has been able to get into really good positions there using that forward dash. We're able to get that interruption there with the 5B, trying to get out of the corner, but not for free. Stealth seems to be ready with those P buttons, getting the anti-airs wherever necessary, and especially for a neutral-oriented character like Kai, having those anti-air reactions, those anti-air engagements under control can get you so much value. Do we have the punish? Yep, 2D, immediate burst. Had to happen if Simppi wants to still play this round, and another really great anti-air. You can, honestly, even if you are a first-timer, even if you pick up a fighting game for the first time, you can get really far with the aforementioned really simple day one game plan where you just, I'm just gonna concentrate on anti-airs. And especially against, like, this kind of mindset can be super strong against Biken as well. Biken doesn't like to play neutral. Biken would love to do the instant air dash jump slash. As you can see, Simppi is relying on that mighty a lot, which is not a surprise, because that is a very strong kind of tool to get things started as Baiken players. But of course, if you have... Oops, is my... Oh, what did I do? I'm crashing my scoreboard. Oh, thank God. I was scared something weird was about to happen. Now I'm crashing my game, though. Are we good? Oh, looks like we are maybe good. Connection okay? Is this on my end? No? Not dropping frames, it looks like. We have a drop here. Let's see if it's indeed the... Again, it looks like the whole game was cancelled between the players, so... We're still good, and apparently not missing any footage. I've heard rumors of the servers being a little bit iffy past couple of days. Honestly, an utterance that you might have heard at any point of Guilty Gear Strive history. Bad server day, extremely common thing to happen. Looks like Stealth said that they are gonna try to join, or rather rejoin the room. Seems like there's some sort of weird black magic happening. But yeah, I'm actually super happy. I just pulled out a random analysis out of my ass about anti-airs, and it seems to fit so well. It looks like it's gonna be the narrative, the sort of ace card, the focus of this matchup. And if I think if Stealth on Kai can keep up with the consistency of the anti-airs, this will be great advantage to him for sure. That means Simppi will have to try to find other approach options, and those approach options can be really hard to come up with in the heat of the moment if you haven't really accumulated those kind of sequences yet. Like, for example, what it means to press forward, walk forward, maybe take a dash forward, break into FD or break into a block, dash blocking, stuff like that. How do you reposition without using your special moves or your instant air dashes? And sometimes against a character that just controls the screen way better than you, against a character who you have difficulties getting in, sometimes you might just have to dash block into their buttons. Because remember, Guilty Gear Strive is not known as a game where pressure is started from long range for at least majority of the cast. So like blocking a bar slash or 2S is probably a proposition that a lot of, you know, more pressure-oriented characters would love to take. Ooh, this might be a misfire. Let's see if we have a... No, Simppi was actually pressing buttons there. Caught in the middle of the sequence. Might have actually wanted to go for a parry past the super flash as well. Guess we'll never know. Out of the corner with that successful instant air dash. Lots of instant air dashing around, and I think if Simppi can sort of egg Stealth into the air-to-air game, that's probably gonna favor Simppi quite a bit, because Baiken is probably one of the strongest air-to-air characters in the game. Like Jump Slash, if that counter hits, you have some pretty decent prospects for following up with a combo. Ooh, speaking of combos, that was actually kind of cool. Comboing into the heavy fireball and then into the heavy DP, which does get more juggle height this patch. Same feature for both the Kisk family boys. Extra X, we still need one good hit, maybe a super confirm for Simppi. Going with the back jumps this time. This is actually, I kind of like this sort of, ooh, but this is a misfire on the S confirm. Never mind, just letting it rip, maybe a frame trap. Happy little accidents as they may happen. Sometimes if you miss the conversion, your opponent might be pressing buttons, and as long as you have some sort of a gap in there, the next hit is gonna land. Ooh, speaking of landing hits, gonna counter hit, immediate burst there out of the corner for Simppi. Probably a pretty nice, ooh, nice 5B anti-air once again too. And good chase down. This is another kind of anti-air sequence. If you don't, like, if you can't catch them with the traditional 5-piece, 6-piece air-to-airs, you could also choose to just evade the jump in and then try to catch them on the landing, as Stealth actually did here. There's quite a lot of landing frames in Guilty Gear Strive where if your opponent does basically anything in the air, uses like a double jump, air dash, presses a button, as they land, they will go into that punishable landing recovery. And if you manage to target that, it's gonna be a free combo for you. Out of the corner once again, but again, look at that! The landing frames! Stealth was ready there with a 6-P to the right direction. And sometimes, you know, you might have to give up the position, but as long as you can get some sort of value out of that, that should be fine. What was the... I know this is a, you know, a staticky moment where the connection is probably not okay, but that 5P from Simppi catching the recovery of whatever that button was from Stealth was kind of cool. Are we good? It's been looking like a rather rough and rocky road, as we see here. So this is Finland to Russia connection, so technically, I guess distance-wise should be okay, but you know, it can depend on a lot of things. I guess at that point it's up to the players if they deem that it is indeed playable or not. Probably waiting for the lag to subside. Are we going? Yeah, this looks kind of nasty. We're gonna have to hear from the players what they think about this one. Actually, it looks so weird that it could have been a desync as well. It's usually kind of what you would expect from a desync game to look like. I really hope it's like not just Strive servers. It has never been the case where we actually had to cancel a whole event because of the servers just wouldn't be able to do it. Wait, did we drop out of the match, but the players didn't? That is... Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn minute. We're reaching all sorts of levels of weird here. It takes a lot of time for the room settings to set in as well. Alright, here's the hoping we manage to actually pull through and finish this event tonight. You know, sometimes it do be like that, but we take the W's and L's as they go, as we say. It's the kind of stuff to be expected from a competitive sport that is extremely connection dependent. As we still don't have magical internet infrastructure applied everywhere. I mean, one day probably we can enjoy completely lag-free games. I mean, technically there is the sort of basic, whatchamacallit, basic restrictions from the side of physics. It's kind of hard to go faster than the speed of light when it comes to data transfer. Right, looks like Simppi is actually taking one game here, I assume. Next batch definitely fixing servers. Oh, I've heard this phrase being spoken so many times before. And we can always hope. Anyway, I think the situation is 1-2. Stealth with the lead here on Kai. Simppi opening it up as well. Too bad we lost the first match where sort of momentum swing happens, because it's always interesting when a player is down a certain amount of rounds and then you get to the game where they actually make some sort of adjustment, change the pace a bit, maybe manage to actually finish their combos. Being able to see how that momentum swing actually comes to fruition is one of the most beautiful things that I enjoy in not just fighting games, but competitive esports altogether. I guess in all sorts of sports. Esports and sports are, in a lot of ways, very similar, to be perfectly honest. Right, back into the game. Let's see if Simppi can pull that off again here. Oh yeah, I was about to make a point about the sort of the trajectory of the jumps. You don't necessarily always have to go forward like so. Instead of the instant air dash, you could play the very classic like back jump slashes, back jump tatamis as Viken, and try to play a little bit more safe. Is this RTL completely gonna whiff? But are we gonna get the punish here? It's kind of tough because you do have to dash forward. You have to use that 6-6 input or your dash macro to get in the position, and yeah, hopefully a close slash starter is what we're usually looking for. Speaking of that close slash starter, we're missing a couple of opportunities here. Simply trying to find a hit confirm for their BMB combo. It's another very common occurrence here. As you can see, Simply trying to fish for that /5 heavy, where that 5 heavy just has so little reach compared to many other characters. But now we are in the range. There's a wall bounce. Is that actually gonna hit? No. Gonna hit on the block. RTL has a little bit of startup, but still makes it there, putting Simppi completely in the corner. And now big 5K into heavy button frame trap. Starts to juggle, able to milk most out of that combo. That's another thing that Stealth has had on board so far. The frame trap strings have been working out pretty well, but this time there's just a little bit too much gap between those hits. But that is sort of the salt of fighting game pressure. You can see, trying to find the timing here. How much gap are you gonna leave them? Misfire there, 2S into a super. This time Stealth is respecting, and let's see the punish, starting with a 2S. Getting a decent amount of combo, putting the electricity on the opponent, and most importantly, maintaining them in the corner. Ooh, tried to go for an air-to-air kind of situation, but still pressing a button a little too late here. The PRC into burst from Simppi. And now the instant air dash was a little late for a punish. However, Street Fighter confirms 1, 2, 3, and a wall break, maybe? Yeah, that's a lot of value for a single hit confirm. And now Simppi needs only one hit. Gold burst there from Stealth, knows that it's gonna be pretty hard to do anything if they take anything on block. Yeah, immediate defensive resources being utilized. The tail end of the stun dipper, able to find a hit and then transition into basically pressure. Stealth just barely able to sort of steal that round back, looking like Simppi was working with a really nice one from was that a /1 hit confirm into a super. Funny that you would mention that though, because like Byken is one of my favorite characters, not just in Strive but in Guilty Gear Xrd as well. Because she has some difficulties hit confirming normals from certain ranges, it's actually feasible on like a very simple day one game plan. If you have reaction times, but you don't necessarily know the combo routes, you could feasibly spend your meter on like short hit confirms, such as like 2S into a super, or stuff like that. And once again, ooh, very nice hit confirm. And in Guilty Gear Strive, you're usually not gonna get the most, like not too massive of hits out of those anti-airs, especially 6Ps. But still able to find decent damage from that 5B. Good timing there on the burst. Gonna nullify this super hit confirm completely. And the timing on the 6B is impeccable again. Frame trap. And that's not just one frame trap, but multiple frame traps on those strings. going from those K buttons into heavy buttons and then canceling into delayed special moves. Stealth is purposely hunting for those button presses. This is very common at, you know, among the players of this skill level to try to just, like, get it. Ooh, that was really fast. Wall stick, by the way. Really great reaction here also for Simppi to get the max cash out. That is probably the highest damage combo that Simppi has done so far. Not a safe jump, apparently. Not even on the, what is it, 10 or 11 frame startup of Kai's SDP. From the dash cancel into a throw, setting up the electricity once again. Frame trap into dire Eclade. Not a counter hit, so can't get a massive damage out of that. Burst into the corner, I like this. Immediately into the super. Let's see if Stealth press the button. No, just respecting here. And now, the quick 1, 2, 3 into heavy fireball. Would have loved to follow that up with a heavy DP as well. As interruption immediately goes into the gold burst, and that gives a prime opportunity once again to restart the pressure, go for the K buttons, especially that 5K, such a great button for Kai. It's honestly, if Potemkin used to be the 5K Fisher Price my first meaty in the older games, it's probably Kai in this one. Because that 5K is not only a safe jab against a lot of reversals, but also stays active for very long, reaches very far, and has really great Gatling options into frame traps as well. Big counter hit there, immediate burst from Stealth, and a flip kick working as a makeshift air-to-air. If that counter hits, it usually leads into some really nice damage as well. Another misfire perhaps. Frame trap does not work out. And this time we're getting the big close slash starter. I think before Stealth has opted to start the combos with 2S. Oh, but on that thought, we got an RTL taking Simppi through the wall. And now what next? Starts to go into the 6K meaty. A little too slow. Simppi jumping out of there. Life situation once again very even, but the next one is gonna be big. No hits confirmed into anything relevant. DP does bounce, Simppi in the corner. Trading hits, no RC. Extending the pressure, and yeah, making it a very, very tight gap out of that RC 5K once again. The MVP button of this match as far as pressure is concerned for Stealth so far. Put them in the corner. Lots of blast frames from that 6K. And 5K is just... Wait, does Kai 5K actually Gatling into itself? I think not, right? It's not one of those buttons. But still staggering with like fast buttons such as like K, 2K, 5Ks. Still a very feasible option because like you would... Ooh, but this is successful hit confirm. 1, 2, 3. Damage coming in. We're gonna need a couple one of those, though. I'm a little late on the anti-air. It's not easy to be perfect every single time. That's why people jump around in fighting games, because like even if your opponent is looking for the anti-air, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can pull the anti-air off from the counter. Ooh, what a tricky situation. Actually managed the instant air dash to the other side and get a big close slash starter there. Or was that 5 heavy? Either way, the air-to-air situation, very nice cash out. That's a decent, very considerable amount of damage for this skill level. You're usually looking to get at least like upwards of upwards of 100 damage out of most engagements, if possible. And if you can get more, great. The other side once again. Simppi is getting decent amount of value out of these single hits. But again, the hit confirm doesn't quite work out. Close slash starter. Ooh, we're going with the big guns. Corner carry combo. And this big anti-air should put Simppi through the wall. Not quite the kill here, but the resources are very scarce. Goes for a throw that must have been, I think, the first throw of the set as well. So Simppi probably wasn't thinking about it this time. Stealth marching forward. Man, a lot of the rounds are very, very close, often coming down to last interaction. But that's kind of common occurrence at many skill levels, and it tends to be like when you get to that tense moment, adrenaline is flowing, you're like, oh man, one more RPS situation, one more decision is gonna sort of decide the outcome of the set. That's where champions are usually made. Because for veteran players, it's just another Sunday. You're working with just another round. But for less seasoned players, it could be a really tense moment. It could be like, you know, I'm almost about to get the win. Oh, but here we go. One hit into a super once again. Really respectable way of spending meter at this skill level. Don't scoff at this. I sometimes love picking up characters and spending meter this way as well. With 6p. And then into a 5D reaction check. If he doesn't drop the combo, oh, as I say it, gets a drop, counter hit, not able to pick it up, and then the stagger 5k, 5k. Is the 5k actually plus as well? Let me pull out the frame data for a nice 5k. That is such a nice button. Tell me your dirty little secrets. What are you on block? Stealth has been utilizing that so well. It's not quite plus as, you know, most of the buttons of this caliber on block are just slightly minus. Ooh, slides. The startup of the stun dipper collides with the Kabari, granting Simppi a very nice conversion here. And now the S-Kabari attachment can't be interrupted unless you were about to go into a DP here. The physics pulling Stealth back into the close range where Baiken definitely wants to be. 6p a little too high up in the air, and we're trying for the 5D once again. This time, not dropping the combo, getting most out of it, and especially the last hit, the finishing touch is the biggest hit, and the hit that gives you the hard knockdown and positive bonus. And you know, if it sinks, why not try it again? Wise man once said, Stealth does it does it twice in a row, and why not even do it 3 times? If the opponent is, you know, a little bit too hesitant to do anything on defense, might as well a little bit too daring here, trying the 5D on the round start. Out of the corner. Now, nice backdash out of the flip kick, and then a whiff punish on the direct hit as well. First has been used for Stealth, and now in the corner. If we can manage to get to that 50 meter for Simppi, that's usually where the big hit confirms are coming in. That's a nice timing. Interesting Stealth. That's the first time they went into an RTL conversion from the 5D launch. Probably wanted to be as burst safe as possible, not being able to do so this time. Uh-oh, tried to press a throw in between that string. Still ready for the 6p. And then following up with the reaction check once again, going straight into heavy DP. That's unfortunately won't be able to be followed up. So Simppi still has a very nice chance here. 50 meter on over, yeah. If it works, it works. And this time cashing out the shoot hit, yes indeed, RTL from the fully charged 5D. Rarely see it happen, but one option you can definitely do. And this would be the first set point position for Stealth. Nice standing up the block this time. If you can block it on reaction, a wise man once said, just guess then. That's how a lot of high-low situations are in fighting games. And a combo finisher here. I think because of the tether no, never mind. I was about to say that's not gonna break the wall, but little did I know that Bikers have these confirms on point. That should be a kill for Simppi. Definitely waking up at the last possible moment, but this could be a momentum swing, the momentum swing that Simppi actually needed. But can we survive to the point where we have that 50 meter? That 50 meter has been such a crucial point for Simppi's hit confirms. The close slash initially goes to the wrong direction. Timing is a little off. Frame trap there into tatami mat. Prompts Stealth to use the burst. Now any hit would be pretty big, especially since we're close to the corner. A misfire again. Stealth should be respecting, yes indeed. Oh, tried to go for a fully 5D punish, but there aren't enough frames, unfortunately. Close slash on the landing. Simppi in a pretty good position here, has burst as well. Nice, the mash is a good option as well. Let's see if Simppi can block in time. Yes, indeed, and the punish. Ooh, never mind, because Stealth had the 100 meter here. But again, meter flying back and forth. What kind of punish? Takes the more standard close slash one this time. First has been used. Next hit, it is gonna be the fully charged 5, and that should be the kill, taking the set for Stealth. I think that is the first win for Stealth on Bounty Hunters, right? Has been on the hunt for the W for a while. But eventually, your patience, your efforts are gonna be rewarded. But good showing for Simppi as well. Definitely can see that, you know, the Guilty Gear journey is just about to get started. And definitely hoping to see Simppi more in the future as well. Keep grinding, keep getting better. And eventually you will get there. Luckily, it's one of those types of things. Actually, I mean, a lot of things in life work like that. If you keep doing it, you keep getting better at it. And it works just like that in fighting games as well. You will be rewarded according to the time that you put in the game as well. All right, next up, I'm gonna have the first Happy Chaos set of the week. This had to be rescheduled as a sort of like a different setup. Kuro initially was supposed to play against, I forgot against who it was, but answering the call to patch the situation on a short notice is 11th, our Norwegian Bridget player. An interesting matchup. We've had this couple of times on Bounty Hunters, and Bridget does have some interesting tools to battle the sort of the range that Happy Chaos poses. I think most notably Kickstart My Heart, a very fast, I don't want to say neutral skip, a lot of players throw that term around a lot, but definitely a surprise poke from half screen away that can not only, you know, catch Happy Chaos off guard if you're, you know, trying to swing too early, trying to take out the gun, and trying to make the reticle latch, or if you're just trying to, you know, recover your resources. All of that can be tacked by Kickstart My Heart. And if you have 50 meter to combo up with it on the Bridget side, you just skip into one of the weakest characters on defense. Or you can try to skip into the guard of the character that has one of the weakest defenses in Guilty Gear Strive. I guess that's a better way to put it. Right, we have both players in the lobby and ready to rock it. Even though both of these characters have a decent amount of range, they utilize that range very, very differently. Bridget is more like a... Bridget is kind of like a zoning, you know, in a way. You have strong pokes, far-reaching pokes. You can control the spacing a little, or rather the space in front of you a little. But then when you get the knockdown, you go into heavy set play kind of a deal. Whereas Happy Chaos just doesn't necessarily want the knockdown, but wants to make you block something, take out the gun, force mix-ups, and then on successful hit, try to recharge your resources and make it all flow like so. Immediate burst, very aggressive burst from 11th, trying to keep Kuro in the corner. Really something you want to do against Happy Chaos. You don't want to let Happy Chaos run rampant with those strong mid-range buttons. Ooh, look at that! The reaction throw! We've been talking about that so much! The two characters that you can do that against. The command grabs of Bridget as well as Leo. Those are not throw invulnerable. You can actually react with a throw on those. And Kuro actually goes for it. Able to escape the reticle for a moment, but eventually it will find its mark. And once it does, this is what happens as Kuro pulls up with a big combo. And those combos are going to be very consistent as long as you have your unique resources ready to be spent on Happy Chaos. Most hits should convert into full screen, corner carry, and a wall break if you so desire. it is up to you to decide if, you know, it's worth the resource burn, depending on the situation. The very late BRC baits out the burst. However, now the pressure. Oh my goodness, what was that? Missing perhaps on the burst there. Luckily it was the gold kind, so as long as it's blocked, not too bad. But now Kuro once again finding himself in the corner, having to defend this onslaught of... Oh, we also have the wrong names here, I just noticed. This is... Why do I have Lussu here? Let me fix that quick. It's indeed supposed to be between Kuro and 11. I'm so terribly sorry, not sure how that happened. Alright, these should be the right names. Alright, and while that is happening, I see 11 finding a successful string, putting Happy Chaos in the corner once again, and this time with a big cash out as well. Is this combo ever gonna end? There was a lot of juggle before the wall stick. And now with the heart knockdown and the positive bonus is... Kuro actually is choosing to not use any defensive resources to break this positive bonus. That will lead into 11 having... Oh, but the deflect shield will actually not do anything in the corner because it does only move the opponent back. But if the opponent is already in the corner, nothing will happen between you and the opponent. Distance-wise, that is. We jump out, takes out the gun, and now... Jumping is one interesting way of making the reticle sort of, or bluffing the reticle, especially instant air backdashes. Any kind of air movement that moves your character along really fast, or if you have a fast dash as well, should serve you well if you just on sort of short term want to just make the reticle not latch onto you. Because once the reticle does lock onto you, you're kind of in a way doomed at that point. Then Happy Chaos gets to choose how many times they want to shoot you. They can approach you, get into your guard, airtight, if they're willing to spend the bullets. And now speaking of what happens when you get into the guard, nasty mix-ups, good hit confirms that this super Deus Ex Machina should do enough damage to get the round for Kuro. Ooh, the 6 Heavy actually working as a makeshift anti-air here. Ooh, very important throw here. Breaks the momentum of Kuros, and now it's time to burn our resources. The first one to be spent, the blue Wild Assault. Helping 11th accumulate that meter. Here comes the fast RC. Get the hit. Problem with spending meter for pressure strictly is, of course, that you sometimes don't have the meter after the combo to cash out, which can be really important against a character like Happy Chaos, who you would usually like to have a hard knockdown against when you go through the wall. Here comes the big combo for Kuro. Doesn't want to go through the wall this time. It's usually a pretty decent way of spending your blue burst or your burst resources in general in Guilty Gear Strive. If the opponent threatens a wall break, that could be grounds for... Oh, wait a second! That was not a... I think it was... Was that too early? Why did that command grab actually not sink in there? I don't think Kuro was backdashing or jumping either. Maybe just too fast from an air normal? Right, reloading one shot. A little low here, goes bust on the concentration front. But we still have our good buttons to try to play the neutral with. The problem is, if you don't have concentration or bullets, your hit confirms are gonna be very lackluster. And now from the RC, we're gonna get the wall break. Look at that, decent damage. But now Kuro has a lot of resources. The concentration is back, a little low on the bullets. But the simple super hit confirm can fix that. Deus Ex Machina, after all, does feel your... Ooh, that was a nice break out of the rolling movement just before you got to the 6P range of Happy Chaoses. Dark Souls makes up, go back and forth. This time the front, however, tried to go for the throw a little too early. YRC to get out of there, and then the throw to put 11th in the corner, and you bet your ass this is not gonna kill. 1 hit point, I was so sure it would. But little do I know, the FRC does not sink in. Kuro standing up to block the overhead successfully, and then building the 50 meter for the YRC just in the nick of time, burning it immediately in order to break the momentum. When it goes to that point where, you know, any hit is gonna kill you, or when you're getting close to that point where you can be killed with chip damage, it is so important that you get out of that string immediately if possible. So deflect shields, YRCs, super important tools. Ooh, that's a big close slash. Luckily for Kuro, the wall had taken quite a bit of damage already, so wall stick happens prematurely here. Ooh, swinging it too heavy, a nice whiff punish here. Kuro very ready for that button. Too heavy, super good, reaches far, very hard button to miss, but also comes with a caveat. If you do miss that, it's gonna be like, what, 20, 30 seconds of recovery? So very feasible whiff punish there. Runs out of concentration here, Kuro, and now YRC prevents the what looked like FRC kind of mix-up. Kuro has to be really careful here. Very low on hit points. None of that matters though if you get the hit in or if you get into the guard of the opponent. Ooh, nice again! Do that thing where you don't anti-air, but you run past them and then tap them on the landing. And from the FRC, a cool 3-bullet reload in the middle of the combo and then still get the kill. It is so important for Happy Chaos players that you have these, basically have the execution on the combos for slightly different purposes than, ooh, nice clashes there. Although I think Happy Chaos will probably have difficulties canceling that into much. Now the corner loop of 11s finds the hit. And goes for an early cancel there on the super. This is the optimal scenario that you want to happen against Happy Chaos. And now you're in a positive bonus loop. Can force pressure on Happy Chaos, forcing it even more. Might as well, because that positive bonus was still ticking up. And now Kuro, ooh, I mean, not necessarily have to burn any resources. I think especially saving that burst there was an integral decision for the outcome of this set. You don't want to spend burst when you're favored to lose the round, right? Unless you're just gonna lose the game altogether. Pushing the corner pressure, spend the 50. That's the tool, the kickstart RC that but it's basically the bread and butter of you know, many game plans are pressure plans. Oh my god, look at that though! Previously, 11th broke out of the rolling movement in order to bait the anti-air, but this time Kuro said, no, I'm gonna relocate myself. I'm gonna dash forward and then do the anti-air. So if you bait me, your joke's gonna be on you. Too bad that decision does not help Kuro to procure the round. For 11th gets it back and still maintains the leading position, but not by much. This is only getting started here. And turning out to be quite the chess match as these... I wanted to initially say these two low damage characters, although I think... Ooh, nice block there on the F-Shiki. Good knowledge of the routes that Bridget can actually go for. But yeah, I initially wanted to say low damage characters, but I think it's only Bridget that is relatively low damage here. Happy Chaos' damage highly depends on what resources you have available though. Sometimes you absolutely... Yeah, there it is again, the reaction! The reaction of the command grab, I love that so much! And because it happened twice, it must mean that Kuro is looking for it. That was not a fluke. Very high-level strategy here. You would be surprised to know that many high-level players can't do that either. So to be able to incorporate such an interesting matchup strategy in your game plan at this early into your Guilty Gear Strive career, love to see that. Right, breaking out of the kickstart at a very safe range. To the other side with the taco kick and then another one. Very close to burning out on the concentration department though, I think, which prompted Kuro to break the sequence, maybe. Now hurting for bullets as well. One hit into Deus Ex Machina would be nice. This should go into it, right? The opponent is in the corner, but no cancel. No matter. Happy little action. We just flow into a throw and then do the funny super. Finishing the round with full clip. Nobody saw that. Never run out of resources. I don't do that shit.
Duel 1.
Alright, dead here once again. 2-2. Slowly transitioning into the mid-game of the set, if there ever was such a thing as early game, mid-game, and end game in first to 7 sets. Nice, that third time is the charm, and here's to many more. I think at this point, 11th probably has to recognize that that command grab has been sort of answered successfully, like almost, what is 80-70% of the times. So it's gonna be a very dangerous kind of tool to use. But I mean, the opponent can't react to many different things at once. And as I say it, maybe that time Kuro was actually looking for something else. Back and forth, aborting the sequence just in the nick of time before Kuro runs out of the concentration. And now the super input, nowhere to be found. We can still do it. The problem on the next screen is rather gonna be the concentration than the bullets. Although I guess this amount, I see, that's why probably Kuro chose to play a little bit, play the situation a little bit more safe. Now forcing the situation, Kuro throws their own meter on top of 11th meter as well. Very respectable decision. It is often about who has more meter that has more, that has the last say in a lot of these RPS interaction situations. And there's really no shame using meter after your opponent has used meter for, you know, extending their own pressure. You can treat it as a sort of like equivalent exchange, but of course, if you are the one who exchanges the meter into YRC, then it's gonna be your turn. Nice jump. That rare footage of being able to jump out of the tracking of the Roger super. Kuro must have been jumping at the perfect frame there. If he takes care of the blue wild assault, the opponent's frames are slowed, so Kuro able to get one strike in there. Stands up the block, the overhead successfully as well. How to get out of here? Kuro does have some reasons to play patient here. We do have decent amount of meter after all. Might have to think about some sort of... Oh, there we go. There's the opportunity. Waiting for the pressure to seize. Unleashes 2S and then take out the gun. Successful hit confirm. That's how we do it in the Happy Chaos land. Speaking of, Kuro is really patient on defense. Like, I would see a lot of other players, including myself, probably reaching for the YRC much earlier, especially on a character like this. Although, to counterbalance that argument, Bridget not necessarily the most deadly character in the mix-up department either, when you flow into your like basic pressure. She's just like, her pressure just lasts very long. But it is, in its core, like rather interactable. You just have to wait for the interaction points. Speaking of the interaction points, good recognition that there is an OTG to be had out of that throw. Gets the round. Probably hoping to even it out here. There we go. The long pressure strings, they do also require you to input manual delay so that you can, like during those long block strings, you can have the frame traps. You can give the opponent opportunity to hang themselves. If you just do airtight block strings, it's not gonna amount to much. Like, sure, you can build risk, but ooh, but hold that thought. We're gonna close slash punish here. 11th recognizes that that would have been the end of the round. Still wanna play as we have 50 meter coming up right here. Finds the low. But Kuro also recognized that with that 50 meter, it would have been over if 11th goes for the super. And now we have the resources, we can burn it. Launch with the 6S and then break the wall. Deus Ex Machina. Very important swinging point here for both players. If Kuro takes this, it's gonna be for the first time a 2-game lead. But if 11th manages to procure it, it's still gonna be even Stevens, 3-3. Nice blocks on the cross-ups, and that will actually end up spinning all of the remaining concentration of Kuro. YRC, of course, very valuable tool to buy time here for the concentration to come back. Luckily, the concentration is the kind of resource that recovers over time. So as long as you stay, you know, patient on defense, you can get it back in a couple of seconds. The bullets, though, are a little bit harder to come by. You would usually have to take a risk to manually recharge them or interact with the opponent in order to put them down and then safely recharge them. But yeah, 11th does not indeed let Kuro run away with the lead. It's gonna be 3 each still. Swing it to S. One of the go-to buttons, especially if you think your opponent wants to 6B or stuff. And I think I saw Kuro trying to swing for the 6B during this round as well. If you want to call those out as, you know, I think many of us recognize that Bridget is in general quite 6B-able on her best pokes. Bar slash, 5 heavy, their follow-ups, yo-yo toss. All of those can be gone under with 6B. If you want to call that out, you would probably have to use her 2S, which 11th has been swinging. Oh, that's a big miss on the 2 heavy and a whiff punish by Kuro. Yeah, this should lead into very decent damage. We're gonna have super at the end unless we just want to go for the reset. That's also a possibility. Because like if you break the wall here, it might not finish the round, and then we go back to mid-screen while 11 still has a burst and 50 meter ready to go. So maybe instead you wanna drop it in the corner and reset it. Sort of use the pace of the match to your advantage so that you don't let the opponent get like the set play defense situation if you wanna like a situation where you have time to think about what you're gonna play. Speaking of those, oh, I think the yo-yo coming back actually sticks Kuro to the wall here, and the drift will be caught by the Roger Super.
Duel 3.
There we go to S from Kuro this time around. Both of these characters have really good ones. The function of Happy Chaos is 2S, usually for defending your space and hoping that the opponent is gonna try to engage you and run into your buttons. It's kinda, because of the gun mechanic, you, ooh, again, 4th is the magic number here. 4 reaction throws against Rock the Baby. Kuro looking absolutely phenomenal here. Half concentration, half tension, positive bonus. YRC puts the stop into it, but then the resource advantage, look at that. Had the bursts ready to go, but 11th was just a little short from their own burst. I think that's a textbook resource win there. Was able to burst 11th into the corner and then, you know, play successful pressure and disallowing the opponent from using their own blue burst. Absolutely beautiful. Push to the corner. We have the 50 meter as well. Forces it. Tap 5D. However, that's not going to be able to be converted into anything unless you have yo-yo coming back or you have the universal 50 tension ready to go to for the red RC, right? Ooh, the air-to-air jump slash. Such a nice starter for Bridget. Ooh, was that a setup frame kill, or did Kuro actually miss that meaty? Either way, still able to trick the opponent into taking the hit. Successful anti-air. That looked like a 2 heavy there, which is a little bit on the slower side, but the hitbox makes sure that you're gonna trade successfully, usually meter for meter, drifting backwards. Oh my god, the slugfest here. Fighting for position. Kuro still holding on to that 50 burst. Or sorry, that 100 burst. Drops the combo. No worries, as long as we don't whip anything critical, we still have an opportunity to get the meaty and reset our pressure, despite the combo drop. Ooh, it's almost a good distance for throwing that curse ball and evading the strike. Bridget's normals, though, they do reach quite far, so you gotta be really careful when you play that curse ball as sort of a makeshift backdash. I got them locked in the corner, but not without options here. YRC is the tool that breaks the momentum of 11s for a moment. But man, this defense from Kuro has been really, really immaculate. Waiting for the moment again to strike with the 2S. Such a long-ass button. A good follow-up if you have bullets as well. But now, speaking of those bullets, we're kind of low. And no tension either, so any hit confirm here, yeah, will have to be followed up with a resource recharge. And then, because we were able to recharge those resources, the next combo is gonna be quite the hard-hitting one. Kuro, with a 2-game lead here, finally. They've been going back-to-back, but now able to squeeze a little bit of a lead here. At a very opportune moment as well. 5-3 here. Starting with the air-to-air jump slash again. That button just has such a great coverage. Very... It kind of looks like a defensive kind of button, but... I mean, it's probably... I would say it's probably one of the better air-to-air buttons that you can find. Especially combined with its convertibility. Number 5 is the magic number. Kuro once again reacts to the command grab. Goes for their grab of their own a little too early. I think 11th was still in block stun, or rather the block stun induced throw input frames. But this time misses the window, gets thrown. And it's gonna be very dangerous here. 50 meter, ready to be burned by 11th. The counter YRC. That's gonna be all the meters for both players. And now coming out of that exchange, victorious is Kuro. But now the resource management is gonna be super crucial here. Nearing close to end of the concentration bar. Got a little bit of a quick concentration burst there and able to get there. Managing the resources exceptionally well. A weaker Happy Chaos players would have probably busted there. But the ebb and flow of somebody who not only has played Happy Chaos for a long time, but is, you know, locked in on the resource management game. Definitely has it this time. Able to catch them with those long buttons. Into a hit confirm, into a wall break as well. The rare hard knockdown wall break is gonna give 11th really good position. And Kuro doesn't tend to burn resources very early here. I think it's because every time we've got into this situation where 11th breaks the wall with a super, it's when Kuro is sitting on a round lead. So they're like, all right, I'm not gonna bother with spending the burst at all. Although in those situations, you could still feasibly burn YRC if you have it in order to, you know, put a stop to that positive bonus loop. Either way, we're going through a wall. Getting a win here for Kuro would be super big. The curse ball, making the 5 heavy, or was that 5 far slash? Just barely whiff to the other screen. One more hit, DP once again against the Wild Assault. We're able to see that the YRC is coming out, getting the punish, and now Kuro is still a little far away from that burst. Not sure if he would burst immediately coming out of that combo. So close. It's a couple of seconds away. Doesn't even need it. Finds the hit there from a defensive position once again. The defense. When you think about Happy Chaos players, do you think about the patient defense? Do you think about the opportunities that they eventually get from defensive positions? Hell no. But I want to say those have been some of the best opportunities for Kuro to sort of flip the momentum around in, like, within the context of single rounds. And once again, able to find the sort of the gap there in the deep offense of 11s. Ooh, had the gun out there still, so won't be able to block coming down. And big damage combo. This is probably some of the biggest damage that you're ever gonna see from Bridget players, right? The FRC into a low, costly but effective. The usual like high-low is it rather fuzzy blockable in the layer 1? I would assume, especially since Kuro has been very consistently blocking it. Tries to use the momentum trick, get in 11's guard. No dice though. And understandably so, fighting tooth and nail here for this game. 11 can't drop a single game or it's gonna be over. Kuro goes for the ooh, hello. Are we waiting for something? I think opponent didn't have wire C nor burst. Could be an execution error, of course, because, you know, there's quite a lot of buttons to push for this character, Happy Chaos, after all. Right, one shot into concentration. 11th, utilizing that opening. Missing with the ender here. Gun is out, finds the shot. Being very careful here. This will, oh my goodness, will find its tracking and find a command grab for 11th. A very rare command grab as well to the other side. Are you ready to block these cross-ups? Dancing around, waiting for a response, maybe a DP. Although 11th hasn't been using DP too much. Great block with the F-Shiki once again. These overheads ain't shit. But we're getting tagged by the lows in return. YRC, last chance to fight for this round. The reticle, now finding its mark! 11th moving like a beast! Like a snake, slithering out of those openings. That is one aspect of the Happy Chaos matchup. If you can trick the reticle, if the reticle never finds its mark on you, then Happy Chaos is basically missing one of the most effective way of just ending the neutral and getting into the mix-up position. That would mean Happy Chaos will have to rely on the normals. Happy Chaos will have to be just a normal character. And in his core, he is kind of like that. Because, you know, you're not going to give... Like, when you're playing against Happy Chaos, you're not going to be that guy who gives a free reticle latch unless, you know, Happy Chaos has like a, you know, unescapable setup into it. Such as if you're, you know, being knocked down, like so. Into the cross-up mix-up we still have. There we go! I feel like Kuro has been looking for that DP for like the last 4-5 games or so. Has been backdashing pretty actively on his own Oki. And finally the DP comes out at the end of the set. But is it at the end of the set? Let's see what 11 has to say about that. Well, SPEC has to break it with the 6 heavy because they were still a little far away from the, or rather, basically 1 meter away from the overdrive. By opting to maintain the resources and maintain the position, we could have broken the wall earlier. Ooh, lands in front of Kuro. Knows that that's probably gonna be it if we don't burst. And now Kuro reacts to the throw once again. Goes for the throw of their own. One more. Gonna throw here. Would Kuro burst? This is an opportune moment to do so. Waiting for the DP not coming out. 11 still somehow alive. Yo-Yo was passive one, so not getting an opportunity. Does it latch? It does not latch again! Does manage to evade the shot for a moment, but then inevitably comes down, and Kuro, not caring about the gun at all, even though it's out, fuck it, we'll just tack the landing off the jump. The 2K on the landing, finds a punish, and finishes the game 7-4. A last minute pairing, making a very, very interesting set here in the matchup slot number 2, early into Bounty Hunters. Really great matchup there. God, that's such a... I love that Kuro was able to get that DP bait at least once. It was so many backdashes that were, I suppose, geared towards trying to find that DP. Yet 11th was so patient not firing that DP willy-nilly either. Alright, we have the Baiken Mirror. Noro on Bounty Hunters for the first time. Lussu, we've seen them a couple of times. But both players rather new to our humble little roster. 2 of the 5 Baiken players will be here tonight. How's it gonna be? Let's actually... So, Noro is using black color. Let me add to that to the name. Oh, I see the problem. I actually... God, I've been making a lot of mistakes here. Because I had the wrong names for this match either, or wait. Oh, I see. Because I... Derf. I see the mistake I've made with the scoreboard. Right, let's fix that quick. I should have it covered for now. Double checking that I didn't make any mistakes. All right, we should be good here from this point on. All right, the team kill match. Not only 2 participants or 2 players from Oni, we also have the dual bike and the mirror match. That we, how often, like, I think we've, out of the mirror matches that have happened on Bounty Hunters, I think Potemkin is one of the most common ones, but I feel like we've had Baiken quite a lot as well. Baiken and Nago. I mean, that goes without saying because I think Baiken and Nago Ryuki are the 2 Bounty Hunters characters, the 2 that we see the most statistically. So eventually, you are gonna see the mirror match from those characters as well. Oh yeah, I was about to add the colors to the players' names. Starting with a little bit of a taunt, little bit of fun. Add red to Lussu. Let's see if this is long enough. Yeah, okay. If it's just barely in there. Trying to go for a red parry. They're in the between, but getting punished for their troubles. So the new patch has introduced an opportunity to play Hiragi, the parry, even in block stunts, which generally is what we call red parrying, thanks to, I believe, Third Strike. But the downside of going for those red parries during your opponent's block stun is that you have to be a little more accurate, because I think the red parry has slightly reduced active frames. Speaking of those parries, we can use them on Wake Up as per usual. 0 frame reversal as long as the opponent is striking at you. However, there is counterplay if the opponent delays even a couple of frames, because I mean that parry isn't gonna be active forever. I think the most common RPS is to input a little bit of a delay there. Oh, the FRC. Do we see a kill? Is this a kill? Yes, it is. Good on Noro actually recognizing that that was indeed a kill situation. The damage potential of this character after all is rather high, compensated by how much she has to work to get in on the opponent, especially on characters that have, you know, better neutral than her. Ooh, from the jump in, block normals into a big counter hit, close slash, cashing out, attaching the wire, and to other side, a close slash starter, that's surely gonna kill. Usually you see, you know, the high-low, maybe even empty low from that, but to go for like an empty land close slash is super deep into the layers. I think that's to call out reversal parry, right? An option you're probably not gonna see very often unless you are playing the mirror match, where, you know, one of the prominent options on defense is the reversal parry. However, look at that, Noro, 6 being into the right direction there, recognizes that, that is not a clean media situation that instant aired as Yozan. And I bet there's gonna be a lot of situations like that in this matchup where one of the, like, both players know the options of their character and recognize the openings. This is not real, therefore I'm gonna do X, I'm gonna do Y, so on and so forth. Right, into the meaty tatami, ticks into a throw, and then into an empty low. Can't quite cash out because Nora didn't quite have the meter there. Did they press anything? No, but still, very tricky situation, has to come down. into a button of Lussu's. Both players find win. Oh, okay, I see. It confused me for a moment because it kind of seemed like somebody got wall broken in the right side. But then I was like, no way Noro is in the gun's way from that angle. It was actually Lussu who took the gun hit. I guess it's both because of the action camera's angle panning in a certain way that kind of confused me. I mean, it's not the first or the second time when you get confused by the camera in Guild Gear Strive. It tends to be a little, especially like the initial iterations of the battle camera were a little nauseating at times or confusing at times. So there's still a little bit of that left in the modern day. Ooh, that's a big delay into a 6 heavy. That's one way to counterplay the Hiragis. Just delay so much that if they go for that, like in the fastest timing that they're expecting, your 6 heavy is gonna be so low and strike so slow that it will actually find a punish on those Hiragi recovery frames. Touching the cover here. Big damage inbound, especially since we have the 50. Go for the ping pong combo. I think the combo not successful here. Gets another chance. Oh my god, the goal burst. But a little too close and Lussu is already jumping out of it. Able to put a stop mark to the really fast 2 games that Noro was able to take. Says no, we're gonna play an even one tonight.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
There we go once again with massive gaps. Gatlings into 6 heavy, delayed Gatlings into Kabari. And a very delayed Yozan coming down there, definitely leading into plus frames. Now the tether, it was still attached, so funky physics there. Causing situations to happen that probably only Baiken players have ever seen before. To the other side, hits the close slash on a counter hit. Lussu, once again, going for what I presume is a very, very, very high layer move for this specific matchup. And I mean, if it works, if you can ever find a sequence that can get you a counter hit close slash, you will play those, right? Because that's gonna be usually the highest damage starter for just about any character. Ooh, the empty IAD, no jump slash, no tatami, no nothing. And Noro finds a punish. It was probably meant to be a jump D at the tail end of the combo. Still not done, trading into the Yozan. However, the disjoint frames of the Kabari giving Noro an opportunity. Very nice corner carry combo. Wall break a little too early for Noro's preference there. Able to avoid the gun as well. And deems that the Yozan that hit so high in the air wouldn't be plus enough for Lussu to do anything afterwards. Therefore, we press our own buttons. And the cross-up Yozan here, not leading into too much. It is plus on block though. I believe at least +3 at worst. Into last mix-up, yeah, it's tricky to deal with. If you initially block the meaty tatami, then you're kind of locked in for... Was that Lussu actually who took that win? That was Lussu, right? Damn. I blink and I missed. I think it was Lussu. Correct me if I'm wrong. I get the parry, but the opponent is a little too far away. You can, though... you do have an opportunity to dash cancel into those long-range parries this patch, which will give you an opportunity to go into the opponent's guard with at least a little bit of frame advantage. If you manage to, or like, rather, if you miss the... Ooh, that's a good instant air dash! However, Noro not quite able to pull it through with a combo. Still in there, Lussu doesn't want to give away the corner. Big counter jump D, maybe even too big, because that juggle distance was immaculate, maybe too much. Lussu comes down from the attached Kabari situation with the jump slash. The old faithful, are you ready to anti-air this? Is the question. Present it to your opponent. Counter hit in the air, Yozan. We're definitely gonna go into a good combo. And then setting up again the very delayed 6 heavy. Big starter. Yields once again for Lussu, and that should be a kill. Man, that 6 heavy for Lussu has been working overtime. And like, what are you gonna do if you think your opponent is gonna do that? Then what, you probably would have to press a button, take a risk, or try to escape the situation. Maybe backdash can do it. For Baiken's buttons are quite limited there. On rage again! The red parry is the exact sequence that Lussu is looking the hits on. And the 6 heavy rings true as a counter hit once again. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And here's another way to counterplay the Hiragi. Go for a throw. Mixing all the right options that you need for the mirror match. I think if I didn't know better, I think Lussu has definitely honed their counterplay on especially the mirror match mechanics. Go forcing the plus frames in the corner, ends up crossing up and ending up in the corner themselves here, Lussu. And that means Noro is gonna have a big opportunity to cash out, even up the life lead. Very even on resources as well. But that's gonna change very soon for Noro, for they are on positive bonus. Misses the jump slash, but the opponent tried the anti-air, missing it as well, ending up in recovery frames. Anything is good for Noro. Frame trap into the heavy Kabari follow-up. Ooh, what a clash here, and Lussu with the right cancels, dealing a very respectable amount of damage. And from the counter, Yozan air-to-air as well. Big confirm. Potentially looking for one more good hit. We have the Wild Assault as well to make sure that we can build into that 50 meter. And with that, oh my god! From the minus frames into the parry, and then what a sequence! Lussu seems like they're just reading the opponent's mind. Every time they're right, it looks so good. But I think this kind of gameplay also has definitely its downsides. Like, when you have high highs, you tend to have very low lows as well if the opponent can read you out. Although so far, I think Noro hasn't really found the big hard reach for the situation or for the sequences that Lussu has been presenting. The ping pong combo works out this time into. I wonder if it was actually plus for Lussu or not in the end. With the defensive Tatami Gaishi plus in there, plays the 6 heavy again this time. Noro not taking an aggressive approach, but does end up using a wire C. Unsuccessfully though. Ooh, nice reaction there. That might have actually not even been a reaction. That was such a fast throw. Happened before the situation even registered in my head. From the counter hit. Ooh, is it gonna side switch? Not quite. Probably was thinking that there was a small chance that it might have killed, but you know, the most important thing is achieved. You put the opponent on one-touch range and you get your Oki. Usually nothing else matters. It is, of course, a nice luxury to go into your Oki situation. Oh, the delayed Kabari and more delays. There are so many delays. The name of the game for Lussu has been delay so far. That burst is rather decent there for if you don't get the 5D finisher that also denies the hard knockdown and the positive bonus. Jump under pressure, yeah, that's gonna be minus, recognizes it, 5B hit confirmed, but Noro will have to work pretty hard here from the plus frame, go into a throw, and now we're mixing it up. Would that recover in time though? No! Landing recovery applied from the missed Yozan. Reversaling into the right direction, Lussu. God damn! I wonder if you can input that super in a way that it hits from both sides. Because it's like with DPs, of course, you can do all sorts of shenanigans against Baiken's left-right Oki, but Baiken herself does not have a normal DP. She does have a pretty good combination of having an option that beats straight up meaties, which is of course the parry. And then if the opponent hesitates or tries to go for a delayed option, you can indeed rock that super. It's usually like combining different kinds of reversal options, you might sometimes think like, oh, my character has a meterless DP already, so why would I ever reversal super? But oftentimes the supers that you're working with are an excellent complement to your meterless reversal, and they create a nice game plan together. Another great option is, like, for example, I guess not Sin in this game, but maybe it's pointless trying to make a case with a character from a former Guilty Gear game. I wanted to say like exert Sin's DP and reversal RTL because you could not bait Sin DP in the past by blocking it, because it was completely safe on blocked DP, by the way. So think about that, Stripe players. If Sin's DP annoys you in this game, think about how fucked up that tool was in the past game. You've seen nothing. Right, but I think that was a disconnection from Noro, and they are currently working on a fix. And the current situation is Lussu has been able to take a little bit of a spurt here after that 2-2, building 3 games of consecutive momentum with really nice reads here, sort of seeming like they're just tailored for the mirror match. Because I think a lot of, like, if you face a seasoned Baiken player and your character has a lot of sort of set, what should we call it? A lot of points in your pressure where there are kind of like guaranteed red parry points. I'm again using an example from my own character, such as Sinkisk's 2 heavy or 5 heavy, multi-hitting moves that can be red parried in between. If you're not accustomed to the Baiken matchup, yet the Baiken player is accustomed to playing your characters, you might find yourself being red parried a lot. And I think that would have been the case unless Lussu was using those very sort of I want to say non-traditional, but of course I'm not a Baiken player, so I don't know exactly, but very rare looking cancels, those cancels with massive gaps in between, such as the 6 heavy cancels, the 6 heavy gatlings that tend to catch those reversal parries as counter hits. Okay, so reading the chat is... Looks like Nora has a little bit of a situation going on and might have to actually... What's the word I'm looking for? Throw the towel in through... Or because of unforeseen circumstances, external circumstances. Yeah, but looks like Nora will have to throw in the towel this time. Man, very unfortunate. There was a really nice back and forth so far. And I do like mirror match quite a bit, because like mirror matches are those, like, it's that one matchup that you should have played quite a bit, and that you should understand on a very deep level. For that is literally your character, and because of that you tend to see a lot of really interesting mirror matches, especially when it's, you know, mirror matches between standard characters. And I would say Baiken is like a rather standard character. But I think we will have to move on for now. So that would mean our next game is going to be Wizard Happy Chaos versus Ruby Elfelt. Another rather uncommon pairing when it comes to matchups in this game. Trying to make sure I'm pinging the right wizard here because we have a couple of those in our Discord. Sorry if this goes to the wrong person. I have been thinking about maybe recruiting a little bit of help in terms of, you know, somebody sequencing the matches so that I have to do as little typing as possible between the matches. Because like my passion lies in talking smack, right? And I'm really bad at multitasking, so like typing and talking, usually not my thing. So all the typing and TO stuff that I have to do in between is kind of reducing from my ability to just talk about the match, talk about the matches, matchups, and the players and the like. So maybe I should find a little bit of organizational help. Although in that way, I'm a little bit of a whatchamacallit, like an old and stubborn person, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna do everything on my own. I can do it. So Elfelt Happy Chaos. One thing is, Elfelt is one of those characters who's really overbearing on offense. When you get your Rekka pressure going, oh boy, she's usually in a really great place. And Happy Chaos being a character that does not really have any meterless reversals. Hell, you don't even have any metered reversals per se, other than just your wire C. Getting in on Happy Chaos is usually a really nice prospect for Elfelt. And another thing that is really great for Elfelt is I think Elfelt has one of the faster movement speeds in the game. We usually talk about how even though Elfelt's buttons for neutral seem rather long range, you know, far slash looks like it could reach almost as far as Sin Kisk's, or 5 heavy seems to have a lot of reach. She's not necessarily known as that like strong neutral character at all. But she kind of makes up for it with her movement speed. So whenever you sort of run into a matchup where the opponent just has better buttons, and I think this might be one of those in a way. It's like the far slashes, the 2 S's, the 6 S's, and the K buttons. I think Happy Chaos is probably working with slightly better buttons as far as, you know, the potential of those neutrals, like those neutral buttons is concerned. But she can make up for it with her like fast acceleration on her dash. She can cover a lot of distance and maybe even outsmart the reticle at times just by pressing 6-6. Alright, with the instant air dash, Taco Kid gets a big hit from the get-go. Ooh, the reticle manages to latch just in the nick of time before Wizard pulls the trigger here. And once again, that trigger finger is at perfect timing. The trade here, yeah, very favorable in the favor of Ruby. However, look at this. I was talking about how strong the Rekka cancels were once you get there. But Wizard having the counter attack. One of the few things that you can do against Rekka cancels is 6p. As long as Elfold tries to cancel into the Rekkas from a move that has like rather low attack level. So I think the only ones you can go guaranteed into the Rekka are like 6 heavy, 5 heavy, and is it close slash? But rest of the buttons, you can definitely try to mash 6p in between. So like for example, far slash, 2 slash, even like 2 heavy into Rekka would be 6p interruptible, technically. All right, popping the medicine as soon as they run out of the concentration. And then we're in a prime position to find one more hit into big combo. And Wizard is definitely one of those players who, ooh, nice whiff punish though. Taking the risk and swinging the big 2S round start. Sometimes you have to though. Here we go, able to cancel into Rekka this time. 6 heavy, ooh, but here's a counter play. If you're too far for that 6 heavy, then the 6 heavy Rekka does have a gap. Because it does not land on, the Rekka does not activate on its first active frame. There we go with a close slash anti-air. That's a very, very big starter. Scooting back in there. Ooh, but wait a second. The no cancel allowing Wizard to punish there. Deflect Shield completely pushes Ruby into the corner. And now we have the curse on. We have a little bit of a problem here in terms of the resource management. And Ruby though, no resource management on this girl. We're always ready to go. YRC into the 6 heavy, trying to reach very far, catches Ruby's backdash and forces once again into, ooh, no reaction from Ruby there. Was actually good patience there, was able to bait the baits out. The ricochet does not find its mark, I think because the time was slowed there because of the RC, but now finds hit, ties it up 1-1. The war has started, both players have taken their initial wins. It looks like we're diving into another very interesting match here on Bounty Hunters. Ooh, the makeshift command dash using the... What is that move called in this game? In my heart, in the heart of all OG players, her special moves are Bridal Express and what's the other one called? Pineberry. But of course they're called something else in this one. Alright, taking the bomb belt, one of the most fucked up situation you can put it in this game. 6 heavy into Rekka. If the Rekka, yeah, even if you get out of it initially. But hold on! Wizard ready to defend successfully. The initial shot misses, but for the second one, the reticle does attach. The trick is, oh, jump BP. Oh, and we have the gun ready to go afterwards. As long as you connect, oh, but too early on the throw. As long as you connect anything on block, as long as the opponent is in block stun, that means that your reticle will always auto attach. That's kind of like the holy grail of what Happy Chaos would like to do. That's kind of the only way to always attach the reticle. Make them block something first. That is to say, the neutral gunshots are never free. It is only 1 out of 3 chance for the reticle to immediately find its mark, and that's not in your favor. That's 1 out of 3, 33% chance. Playing another very tricky Pineberry cross-up reset. Ruby takes the lead here. Yeah, it's even if you have the counterplay against going for, ooh, hello there, our Lord and Savior Ishiwatari Daisuke making the hitboxes as they should be in every fighting games. Yeah, look at that, moving around as nimbly as possible, trying to outsmart the reticle as long as possible. But eventually, you will have to stop and try to strike at the opponent as well. The thing for Happy Chaos though, if you delay the shot, if you let the reticle be out, you're using concentration all the time, and time is tick-tock ticking. And eventually you're gonna run out of that resources and have to come out of the gun. And if you don't have the gun option available, your hit confirms are not nearly as great as they could be through the clone. I think there's the shades of the nerf that Happy Chaos got. No longer no longer able to draw, or rather take a hit for you. If the opponent's strike would reach you at that distance, the scapegoat will not bail you out anymore. Alright, finding a couple of shots. Bullets are the bullet point here, however, with a quick one-bullet combo, we can put the opponent in the corner, use Deus Ex Machina, and wham, bam, look at that! Gun completely filled. Backdash shot, the reticle is attached. I wonder if... Was that an option select? If Ruby unleashes reversal super here, I wonder if Wizard would have gotten hit from that backdash. Because the thing is, even though Elfeld's reversal super is very, very slow on startup, it has a deceptively high amount of range. Ooh, with the 2 PP. And then trade into the gunshot. Yeah, there we go. I was about to say earlier, even if you have active counterplay for Elfeld going into the Rekka, if you try to 6P, Elfeld can just play the Pineberry, play the grenade, reset the situation, and 6P, no way Happy Chaos's 6P will ever be able to reach Elfeld at the apex of her grenade reset, right? You would have to go air to air. And with the big combo again, Happy Chaos, not the most sturdiest characters for sure. With the basic BMB, half of your life gone, and then boom, bouncing forward, baiting the the burst. The 2K actually not active long enough, able to backdash out of it is Wizard. Missing the wall break. Well, players struggling for relevant hits here, was forced into recovering resources. The throw, do we get the hit? Yes, indeed, from the combo. Is that a kill though? Not quite, and that's the last shot. That's actually pretty good position for Ruby, but maybe at the 100 actually that was kind of cute. I was about to say maybe cracked there at the very end, but when you have 100 meters to spend, of course you're gonna super RC. When the going gets too rough, always spend that 100 and force your turn. Ooh, that was a deep dash, catching the backdash from Wizard and then close slash. Ooh, the gunshot actually, was that the rare 1 out of 3? That the gunshot, the hip shot actually attached onto Ruby mid-flight when they were playing the grenade. Kinda looked like it. And now, was trying to bait that, but didn't commit deep enough. And now Ruby working the corner instead. We have so much resource here. First YRC, waiting for the... Ooh, that was supposed to be YRC from Ruby. I betcha it was. But turned into blue RC in the end. And then the chip damage out of the pistol whip is what ends up taking the round for Wizard and putting her in leading position 3-2, but again, super even. Nice, I love that. I love when people go for the super daring full screen dash anime button or a throw. I love it when people have the reaction time to actually put a button out there and put a stop to it. Right, the curse has been attached. We're kind of low on concentration, so having to drop the combo mid-screen, recharge resources. Is that close? Not quite close to break the wall. But we'll fix Wizard's bullet situation. It's much better to have one problem than two problems. You would much rather, you know, either have to struggle with bullets or concentration and not both at the same time. The cross-up sinks, the grenade. 1, 2, 3. Is it gonna, not quite gonna wall stick? So no kill this time around. 2 PP. We were kind of low on resources, so not willing to commit into a full combo here. Oh, and a bait! Kind of had to be inclined to using either the deflect shield or the YRC there, because we were getting into a really, really dangerous territory. Once again, the cross-up resets with the grenade. I think that's like one of the go-to tools that Ruby really likes to lean on. And that kind of presents a problem to your opponent. Are you ready to react to this one particular thing? The thing is, she is a character that can totally mentally overwhelm you with the amount of options that she has. And you kind of have to choose, all right, you're ready to counter this one thing, but if you do so, then you're open to this other thing. And I think the other thing usually is gonna be in the Elf-Elf matchup. Yeah, that, the grenade. Yeah, trying to poke on the ground, no good. Because the Pineberry, aka the grenade, is gonna hop over almost every and any grounded normal. Alright, choosing the RC here. Yeah, good presence of bind. Even if the opponent had 50 meter here, I think that would have been completely okay for Ruby. Maybe even preferred. Because like they were on such a massive life lead that they were still favored to take the round even after the potential burst. We've got the 6P there before the gunshot goes off, even though the reticle was attached on Ruby. And now, 50 meter ready to be spent if we find a good hit. Maybe meant to be a YRC, but, you know, a lot of times if you blue RC accidentally instead and your opponent is not striking at you already, that's almost as good. You're slowing down their frames and can probably get a guaranteed... Oh, I think this is going to whiff completely, but are we going to have a punish? No, because 100 meter once again. But that did not give Ruby the guaranteed pressure extender that they were looking for. It's OTG. Yeah, that's an OTG, and that's gonna be such a close range. Very rare to see Deus Ex Machina getting punished. Getting a little frisky there with the dash cancel, and Wizard reacting to that in time. Crazy world we're living in. Once again, reaching for the pressure reset. Oh, and that's a big counter hit. Yep, Wizard, the timing is immaculate. Not bursting immediately, but waiting for the grenade in the combo that causes like forward moving momentum and can flip your positions if you time your burst correctly. Wizard does have 50, was probably looking for that YRC. The YRC does not come out. Follow up with the pressure reset again. Ruby goes one game up. Do we have time to get the information to the players? I think the players did notice that we had a spectator drop there. Yeah. Okay. Good. I mean, if you're a power user of Guilty Gear Strive, I think nowadays if there is a spectator drop, the game also freezes for the players, which is a dead giveaway that, all right, there indeed is a like that particular instance would drop every single commentator, not necessarily commentator, but every single spectator currently on board. So luckily we're not gonna miss any action here, for this is looking like potentially one of the tighter games of this week. Still, even after watching all these 7 initial games, I'm not sure who I would put money on to win this, honestly. If Wizard can figure out like an active way of calling out the grenade resets, I betcha that would be enough to swing the pendulum in your favor. But you know, it's tough. And it's a hard reaction as well. Even if you're just looking for it, going for the instant air throw on the grenade reset or jumpy or whatever your go-to button would be, jump K. It's still quite tough in the midst of all of it.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
And if you start doing things like that on just hard read, that'll put you in a uniquely exploitable conundrum. Alright, no cancel there on too heavy. Probably knows that Wizard has been very active with the 6P counterplay. But able to activate the Rekka here. Once again, big counter hit. This is almost full risk. Try to double it up. Still a very decent amount of risk, so gonna cash out. That combo would usually not do that much. That's like a basic Rekka starter combo. Not too bad. but with that amount of risk, able to almost put Wizard in a one-touch range. FD working wonders for Wizard, able to put distance between the gun lady and the gunman. The reticle not just finding its mark, finding that at the very end there. It was kind of hard to see because Wizard jumping upwards was scrolling the screen to a position where we couldn't exactly see if the reticle was attached or not, but taking the shot regardless. I think you can kind of check that the opponent is not moving around. Therefore, my reticle must have found its mark. And especially during airborne situations, it just has a lot of difficulties tracking the opponent. Once again, tries to go for the 6P to counterplay the Rekka. No deal, says Ruby. Go for the grenade instead. And Wizard holding on to those burst resources as she is sitting on a round lead here. Nice, was able to get the curse, so the reticle attaches just a little bit faster. And now, frame kill 2S there maybe? Or was that a missed meaty? Getting into the midst of things. Oh, mix-ups incoming. Although, where are the mix-ups? I think Wizard must have misinputted something. Or perhaps that was just a reversal read. The fact of the matter is Ruby is on a warm bath here. Nice deflect shield, making Ruby whiff a button. And then a successful whiff punish as well. Weaker players would just use deflect shield in order to try to make distance. But pro players, they will always try to follow the deflect shield up with something, because it's one of the premium ways of getting a whiff punish in. You push your opponent so far, and the opponent is probably gonna cancel into something that is gonna whiff. So what do? Rev up your best whiff punish button. Again, tries to go for the 6P, however, the grounded 6P does nothing against the grenade resets, unfortunately. Oh, just barely whiff stack shot, which gives Ruby an opportunity to get in. Ah, the Rekka cancels. Infamous for being able to be cancelled even on whiff. Yes, indeed, you can use that tool, Rekka 1, 2, 3, to move yourself forward if you so desire. And that is sort of like part of Elfeld's game plan. Because sometimes, especially on backdashing opponents, those things can whiff. But then, they might be in a guaranteed punishable situation because of their recovery if you just go for the next sequence in the Rekka. Ooh, delaying the too heavy just enough so that there is something that Ruby caught. Into plus frames once again. Rekka 1, 2, 3. Yep, that would have been punishable, so has to spend RC. If you finish with anything but the heavy Rekka, which is the shotgun, it is punishable, requiring you to RC at the end. Oh no! Okay, oh yes, fixing it up. Now the bullet is the only problem. One more. Bam, bam. Oh, and the big Hail Mary 6 heavy actually hits! It's... Oh my god. So, I think what Ruby thought... Actually, hold on. Okay, the player noticed. So what Ruby was probably thinking is, all right, after this burst, we are at neutral. I think Wizard will swing with a preemptive space covering button. What I will do is I will use my slow revving move that's gonna inch myself forward, whiff punish the button that Wizard used, and then get a massive combo starter. Or who knows, maybe that was a misinput, but that's kind of what it looked like. And I want to believe, I want to live in the universe, in the reality where that was exactly what Ruby was thinking. Because, oh my goodness, that 6 heavy is generally not used quite like that. So it really warms my heart when you see rare buttons being used successfully for very, very queer kind of functions. And that would guarantee, or that would put Ruby 1 game up. Extremely close back-to-back match again. Give me a second. Let's put this room in Oh, I see. Oh, the players came out of the match out of their own volition. That's good. Whew, that's close because I actually forgot to put it back on non-rematch. But hey, when the tournament organizer is sleeping, the vigilant players are making sure it all works out in the end. But yeah, very even so far. Who's it gonna be? Ruby, Wizard. Up to 3 more matches, or wait, math 4. But Ruby definitely has the more potential for a reach here. Hello, servers, please. Don't let me down now. This is such a good match. You can't do this to me. You can't do this to us. Fuck. So it looks like it's currently making it impossible to sit on the cabinet. Okay, we're gonna check if leaving the room and coming back is gonna fix it. If not, we'll have one of the players host the lobby instead. That's usually the go-to solution for this kind of situation. I mean, it makes me think that if you have a player room up for too long, for extended periods of time, such as like 2 hours, 3 hours, there seems to be an increased chance of the room just completely bricking. And then there's some weird magic in having somebody from a particular region that like doesn't have good, like even if the third party is being the spectator and the host, if you don't have good connection to the host, then the room is also gonna be a little fucky, which is quite weird way of doing it. You would think the rooms themselves are hosted on the server, and then the game itself would be peer-to-peer. But I mean, what do I know? Ooh, I think that was the first 5 heavy of the set that we see. Very, I think, a rare kind of button in this matchup. All right, into the Rekka, 1, 2, 3. We have 50 meter ready to go. Ooh, that was a very quick hit confirm. Street Fighter-like reflexes. From the first hit into the bomb belt, and then hit confirming. Yes, sick gameplay. Wait, if you dial into the bomb belt, can you still attach it on block? I'm actually unsure because it bothers me. I wonder if you can just dial that because Ruby is doing some really sick shit there. Seemingly, I just holding back for now. Is it time to go? It's time to go. I think Ruby was probably waiting for a moment where Wizard was kind of low on the resource department. And indeed, we are on our last bullet, even though the concentration has come back. We're gonna require some sort of makeshift combo that utilizes either... Ooh, this is a 100 meter reversal, so we are good. Skip to the other side. We have the better side now with Wizard Burst here. Kind of has to think about it because any hit here for Ruby would kind of checkmate the round. Ooh, interesting. Had to go for like a fast RC reload bullets. Did get the bullets in the end, but now will suffer the consequences of losing her turn here. Wizard lets Ruby pounce forward with the 2-game lead. Are we gonna be able to make the comeback? Ooh, that's a big one. Misses the pick up though. That's a heartbreaker. But fighting games are the kind of games where you have to live with those heartbreaks. Forget about them in a matter of 20 frames or so if you want to persevere and still, you know, play your best. Getting a decent amount of bullets in the chamber. And with the curse. Nice. Was able to land a hit and convert it into a long reload as well. Walking the right side on the cross-up grenade. We got the hit here. No hit confirmed. But plus frame still into an empty low. Wizard abiding her time, looking for the opportunity to press that DLC 2K. Finds it, finds the combo, finds the pressure situation, and make sure that Ruby isn't at least gonna finish the set just yet. Ooh, great reaction there on the air throw. It was actually looking like Wizard was gonna cross up there on the Gooba Stomp. Once again, another great throw. No taco kick this time on the cross-up. A great challenge here. And a frame jump into a big button. That's gonna give Ruby basically full screen corner. Wait, the 6B works? Is there a timing where Happy Chaos can actually 6B the grenade reset? Really? I thought that was never a thing. Good on Wizard, finding that and then taking, maybe even robbing, forcibly removing the opportunity to end the set from Ruby. All right, I take it all back. I don't think I've ever seen 6B beat the grenade reset before. I thought Elfeld was just gonna be outside of the range no matter what like grounded button is used. I mean, unless it's like some sort of a sick ass button like, I don't know, Bridget Too Heavy, or you know, one of the premium close slashes like Johnny Slayer, Nago, that kind of jazz. But okay, all right. Learn new stuff every day. There we go. I wasn't expecting the grenade reset to come at that point of the string. Finds the low with the fast RC. We got the kill and we're knocking on the heaven's door. Set point for Ruby. Ooh, and look at that movement speed, the fast movement speed of Elfeld. Even though Wizard got the makeshift backdash off with the curse ball, Ruby still on the chase. Now out of concentration, get the ricochet shot into lots of plus frames. The combo still barely misses, but we are in a striking position. Oh, I love that. The S-Rekka only -1. Is it -1 or -2? And really hard to react to. Is that gonna be the kill? Yes, indeed. Ruby seals it out with a new kind of RPS option. I think that was the first time that Ruby used the S-Rekka into throw, and it ends up working out. It's actually a great option that I like to mix in myself when the opponent is expecting the Rekka follow-ups. Because like realistically, there is nothing you can do about the Rekka sequence past the S-Rekka. You can play the low option airtight, which prevents you from mashing just about anything. You're trying to churn fuzzy jump, you're trying to churn DP, reversal super, anything. You're gonna get caught by that airtight low. So utilizing that knowledge, you could just sneak in a throw. It happens so fast as well that you would have to pretty much hard read for it. Another good match. Moving forward, we got 3 more for this evening. Oh, and we're gonna hop on this one next. So this would be technically our highest skill level matchup of the evening. Mox versus Hoplan. Hoplan has taken a little bit of a break I think I heard Hoplan taking a little bit of a break after assembly, but as far as I'm concerned, probably has been grinding the game still. And now look at that status message there. Very interested in going, what's the word I'm looking for? Going outside of the, what's the good word for when you going international? That's the word I'm looking for. Looking to go the head stomper as well, looking to go to foreign tournaments and showing everybody what's what. The young prodigy from Finland that has taken our community by storm. With storm? Through storm? Is it English language? Anyway, Mox versus Hoplan. So again, Baiken's shtick here, Baiken's lifeline here is you need to get to the opponent's guard. That's when you're pretty good. But it's kind of hard to get there because, you know, all the strong neutral skips, the Beyblade, the Clone Fukyo, and Hoplan knows that it is kind of hard for Baiken to engage you just like that. Finds the perfect timing with the heavy kabare though. And now was trying to hold that position as dearly as possible because you don't want to let Nagoriyuki run away. Very high block situation. How are we gonna get out of there? 5 heavy, you already know from that sweet distance. Very hard to challenge. And Hoplan goes pop. Doesn't matter. You know what's gonna happen next. Boom, bam, and then slice. Great bait there on the burst as well. That was probably one of the last chances for, you know, the opponent to actually do anything. Big combo damage, yes indeed, spend a lot of blood as well, but maybe it's actually not too bad to be blood level 3 in this matchup for, you know, you're fighting that character who needs to work to get into their best striking distance, and look at this, look at what we can do from that striking distance. Especially if we bring 50 meter to the party. The instant air dash Yozan is always an option. YRC back. Ooh, but Mox was on the right layer. Hoplan does have defensive resources here though. Jumping forward. Ooh, the perfect read. 2 heavy goes under the far slash. Can go under 5 heavy as well, maybe, I think. Now, limited range here because we are not in blood level 3. We are now though. The full range of that move has been unleashed. Able to backdash out of the kabari. Hoplan is being very careful now. Ooh, that must have been a miss input. I think I saw a throw input there from Hoplan at the end of the round. I wonder if they were thinking about Wild Assault instead, but just didn't have the... What? What mix-up? Hello? I blinked and I missed it. Goes for a big finisher. The Excavator can be backdashed out of, but now, fact of the matter is, Mox has so much meter and can choose to finish this combo pretty much in any sort of flashy fashion. Taking the first game. I think in this matchup, Baiken probably has to be the one-shot character. Even though we call Nagoriyuki the one-shot, it's like the one time you get an opportunity to go all in, balls deep, you're gonna have to guess right, you're gonna have to deliver. Because of course the keys to playing the neutral, keys to getting those opportune positions are on the Nagoriyuki side. Alright, YRC to put an end to that little venture. Swiping with the 5 heavy. Ooh, that was actually just barely in range for the YRC to hit. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a couple of pixels away from being able to connect. And now since the tether was connected, we're going into the X. Ooh, nice reaction from Hoplan! Mox was trying to double it up with a tricky one. But Hoplan says, no, we don't have shenanigans today. Or if we do, it's gonna be later. Alright, powering through the tatami by spending blood. Always an option. But remember, Bloodburn has the inherent risk of what if I don't get value with it? It's gonna be blood that, you know, it's hard to get back. With the throw, waiting for the reversal. Reversal never comes, and instead, Mox gets to press button 6B still into Fukyo. Bloodsuck. We go. We wait. Good 6B on the landing. Still not done deal yet. Hoplan is at level 3. Oh, that's gonna pop right. Does he notice? No! Committed. Mox committed into it, unfortunately. Slice with the newly established blood bar. Deflect shield. Oh, into a punish. That was a lot of stuff going on in there. And especially with these two players and these two characters, you can bet your ass it's gonna be a game full of all sorts of entertaining plays. In fact, Hoplan is probably one of the most entertaining Nagoriyukis that I know. Has a pretty good pretty good distribution between the calm plays and the aggressive plays, but maybe leaning on the side of the more flashy stuff. Case in point, pop them up. 5k a little late maybe there, but the reward is gonna be a free blood bar there at the end. Ooh, but good on Mox jumping over those blood burns, and that's sort of exactly the best thing you can do against Nagoriyuki, because it's so hard to strike at him when he still has blood available. Try to evade all those blood burns if you can, and it was at a very risky distance as well, back against the corner where Mox had to evade all of those Beyblades. Here it comes, 5B, but no follow-up. Hoplan dancing around, big counter hit into, waiting for the burst. Ooh, nice save. Even though Hoplan went for a very, almost, I want to say, hard commit onto the burst, still had an opportunity to combo there at the very tail end of the RC. Right, blood open only for, not even for one more special move, unless that special move is Fukyo. Be a tense moment at that instant air dash hits at the perfect opportune time. It is a super hard commit. If the Naga player did not hit anything, you're probably gonna get anti-aired. But oh my goodness, it is one of the most effective hard reads against that 5 heavy. For that 5 heavy from Nagoriyuki is kind of akin to a fireball if you think about its function. A super long-reaching move that doesn't let you do anything on the ground. That's basically a fireball, is it not? And how do you counter fireballs in fighting games? Jump over. But of course, you can't do that on reaction. No, you have to hard read it. That's the devil's deal that we made. It's so hard. Oh, I love it. Right, once again, powering through. Ooh, gets a red parry there in the midst of all that. And that's pretty good. If Nagoriyuki burns a lot of blood to get into your guard and you just nullify it with the use of red parry, that's a pretty good trade-off. I mean, you of course take a risk by playing the red parry in the first place. Anti-air? No, not quite. Inching forward with the use of Beyblade, but if you miss with the Beyblade, you're putting yourself in a position where if your opponent is ready to strike at you, they might get the strike out before you can act. And once again, Mox with very patient play. I think the way that Mox was talking about this matchup is that it's rather annoying matchup to play because you have to play very patiently. You have to wait. Ooh, the save there! I think Hoplan's gonna go bust, but the last minute blood-sucking universe. Saving it, and then look at that, the low profile. There's a little bit of low profile there from the from the Beyblade. And then the timing was trying to go for a heavy kabari, but from that striking position, the guy facing the mid-screen is definitely at an advantage, for they get to choose when to engage. They get to choose if they want to walk back. They get to choose the exact distance when the exchange, or rather where and when the exchange is gonna happen. And the guy in the corner will just have to either try to escape or try to align their button perfectly. Alright, achieving that position once again. Hoplan a little too far from the 6 heavy. Ready with the 6B though, which is a great feature to have against Viking players. You never want to let that... Ooh, is Mox blocking? No, was at the tail end of recovery animation of something. So that's going to be really big, fixing a little bit of that blood pressure for Hoplan, but it's going to take a couple of frames for it to come back. Able to procure around 1.5 bars of blood there. And ready for the big plays again with the Nagoriyuki throw with the extended range. And again, look at the Beyblade! Beyblade moving Nagoriyuki forward and catching the tatami mat coming down even before the tatami goes active. That is a really great feature. I feel like a lot of characters in this game have that. If you have advancing special moves like that, Nagoriyuki's Beyblade, since Elk Hunt, Kai's stun differs, that kind of jazz, they do tend to get there before the tatami actually creates a hitbox.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
Alright, there is one benefit for having that short range to bar slash for Baiken, and that is it starts a little bit faster than your opponent's buttons. 9 frames, baby. Great play there. We get the punish, bar slash, but decent damage nonetheless. Mask on. Expecting a blood burn. There we go. Look at that. So perfect. So good. That's how I would play as well. You know that Nagoriyuki has a clean blood bar. So what do? Move backwards. Move yourself into a position where if the Beyblade comes out, you're gonna be punishing it on the way down. Instant air backdash from a perfect position. Mox. Great plays there. That's not an easy position to be either. When the mask goes on and the blood bar is fresh. Yeah, that's usually bad news. Not sticking the opponent into the wall was probably even better than sticking here. But now Mox able to fight herself out of the corner. And attaching the Escabari. It's when the good stuff starts happening. That's a punish, because no cancel anymore from that too heavy. So if it lands on that close distance, you are bound for a punish. Unless RC is made. Ooh, the double Fukio, maybe a triple even into Bloodsucking Universe. Waiting for the burst to come out. No, we're gonna use YRC instead. And the bar slash is at the perfect distance. It's Hoplan who has the burst instead. Can he break? Yes, he can. However, chip damage? Or did Hoplan try to punish between the hits? Unsure. The fact of the matter is, Mox did get that round with that stray super that was not meant to kill. Hoplan so close to popping, but not Hoplan today. Finds a 2S. And at that blood level 3, I think always 2S should always be able to Gatling into 5 heavy, because look at that range, that's so much. Has been able, nice, finds the hit there. Not even needing the special moves that time. Into, yeah, look at that, that's a punish as well. The perfect timing of the clone Fukio. Very, very hard to commit in terms of how much blood you use, but a very effective tool nonetheless. Swipe them off the wall, lots of damage, and now Mox in a difficult position, especially this new modern age Nagoriyuki that does so much damage with all of those 5 heavies. Nice, predicts the... Or rather, that was just expecting Hoplan to maybe unleash that 6P and goes for a very high angle Yozan to counter it. Nevertheless, with that life advantage, Hoplan able to put it 3 points each here. Another super back-to-back tight early game here as we move into the mid-game rounds here. Early burst for Hoplan, trying to keep Mox in the corner. We've spent so much time in this right corner during this set, yet it is 3-3 even. Would you believe it? I think that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of calling this a one-shot match for Baiken. Ooh, nice there, backdash, especially with the tightrope, or rather the rope physics, able to make a really effective backdash shimmy to call out the throw. And now, once again, into the striking position. Wait, even with the deflect shield, the far slash was just too slow. It does make sense because Nagoriyuki has one of the, if not the slowest far slash in the game. But I mean, what button do you press at that range then? Coming on with the jump heavy, able to see the YRC, and here's the kill. Mox always seems to be one step ahead, but not too far behind of the Finnish warrior.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, great RPS win here for Mox. It's one thing to bait out the blood of Beyblade, but a completely different thing to bait out both Clone and Fukio. Because look at this. Clone Fukio spends like, what, almost more than 1 blood bar. And that's if you can bait out a couple of those, the neutral gets so much easier to predict what's gonna happen next. And sort of the uncertainty factor in Nago matchups is when Nago has blood available. Ooh, cancel into, no, a little bit too early, but the opponent is airborne as well, so Hoplan is saved this time. Only at 1 hit point, so can't even take a special move. Predicts it with a parry. And indeed, Hoplan was trying to hit DP with that newly born blood bar. Here we go, Clone Fukio to chase once again. If you move backwards, I'm gonna move forwards. That's just the way how the cookie's gonna crumble. And now with that massive life lead, Hoplan has, ooh, even goes for the PRC option select there. The trade-off is I think Blood-Sucking Universe will not score the blood back, but in that particular situation, Hoplan didn't really care for the blood return, was just looking for a way to get the last hit on the opponent. Tried by Yozan. A cross-up hitbox forcing Hoplan to press the burst button. Here we go. Are you gonna burst? When are you gonna burst? The timing, the delayed timing is good for Mox, able to flip the position. This is maybe salvageable. Waiting for the reversal to never come, apparently. Cash it out with a super. This will still maintain Hoplan in a very decent resource position. Lots of tension. Deflect shield potentially available. Tries to go for a YRC. Turns into blue one, which we happily take. The Beyblade, that was actually nasty. I think that looked like a far slash, and I think many players would have read that as a far slash as well. And that would trigger you to go for 6 heavy in your head, right? But that was actually the startup of a Beyblade. Very ambiguous kind of animation there to recognize. That's one of the highest level abilities in Guilty Gear Strive, to have the trivia knowledge to know what is that, what's the startup of what move is the startup that you're seeing during that slowdown frame. Ooh, that's a lot of blood burn. Oh, it fixes it. Hoplan, I like you. And the way you think. We have a fresh blood bar here from the Blood-Sucking Universe. And look at that. That was from so far away. I didn't even think Hoplan had a throw option at that point. That makes the grappler throw distance so deadly. You think you're safe? No. Pop? Not quite. But now Hoplan is taking a massive amount of damage because we're at the full blood threshold. I mean, technically the second fullest threshold, because we do have the pop threshold on top of the level 3 as well. Ooh, but one more hit. It comes from the second hit of DP, which is overhead. We didn't need any more than that. There is actually no confirming out of that in the modern patches either. Can't RC. Or I mean, you can, but it's not gonna do anything. I guess counter hits DP still gets you a bounce, right? So there's that. Careful neutraling. Is rare footage of Mox actually having Hoplan in the corner, but I mean it's not like Hoplan doesn't have options. It's just he's waiting for it. He's switching it up, trying to play at different paces, trying to invite Mox, perhaps advancing on him, maybe firing that instant air dash jump slash, which you can reaction anti-air. Would be really nice if you don't have to, you know, take a risk yourself. Just make the opponent take the risk instead. However, Mox is having good success on the advance, or rather the whatchamacallit, the approach. And from that throw, so much damage to the other side. Uh-oh. Better maintain plus frame. Advantage. Hoplan chooses to spend the burst here in an aggressive manner, and then the YRC, spending basically everything in order to procure the corner position that he's been playing so often during this match. Wait, what's that jump? Jump B? I've never seen that the button from Nago to Yuki. Usually you see jump K. What's that jump K? Maybe it didn't look like jump K. Anyway, through the wall we go. Mox advantage. There's a couple of ways we could play this, but since Hoplan does not have a lot of resources to reversal with, Deflect Shield was probably one of the only one. but it does not play off. It does not pay off this time. Slightly alternative development here. It was actually Hoplan who went up to 5 points first, and then it was Mox who followed it up. It's been generally Mox that has had the first say there. Ooh, Simppi actually gets there before the DP goes active. Ooh, Hoplan with a nice combo. 6 heavy doesn't stick. If that stuck, that would have been a kill. I'm actually surprised that didn't stick. That was so many hits. And now Mox coming in, hits the Yozan from a little too high. I wonder if that was what Mox meant to do. Maybe wanted to cross up instead and not hit from the front like so. The battle for the 6th point is gonna begin. We're gonna go pop. Snap! Are we gonna connect this time? 5K, this time it hits. Ow! Big cash out with the baseball bat. You better not miss that, because that takes you to exactly 1 hit point. One of the most beautiful cash outs in the game. Use all that you have. 6P. Immediate burst as Mox realizes that she has been had. The instant air dash has been read. Ooh, able to skip a hop to the other side with the use of the H-Company follow-up. Empty throw into, waiting for a response of some sort. However, Mox doesn't have a lot in terms of resources here. It's actually Hoplan who goes for a really aggressive way of trying to procure the corner pressure position. It's parried in the end. Here comes the jump heavy from a very precarious angle. And Mox is out. But as soon as she got out, Hoplan is actually pushing her towards the right corner. OTG 6 heavy swipe it. We are at the first set point position of this set. Will Hoplan be able to finish it right here? Big combo potentially incoming. Ooh, that's actually cool. You can do so much damage without spending any blood almost. Into nice reaction there. Throw on the forward Fukyo. And now it's actually Hoplan who's hopping forward aggressively. What's next? Missed the 6K. Frame kill into a throw. We have so much blood here. Mox says, no, I don't want to take that blood. That's nasty. That's risky. My set life is on the line here. We're gonna mix. Cross up into a throw. Do it again. Did she block? Is the big question. No, she committed, and that's gonna take the set for Hoplan. Slicing with the reversal super, just as in the previous set. The reversal super to the cross-up direction gets the set for Hoplan. On the BMB mix-up Baiken situation after the throw. It was completely even up until 5-5. But again, Hoplan with that very familiar pace shift, playing it relatively even until the very last moments where you activate the Super Saiyan mode. You have the data, you just go in, nothing matters anymore. You're basically completely in the zone, and then you take the decisive games. As they say, he is as cracked as he is jacked. Hoplan taking the W. But extremely good match. 2 more to go. We have the sort of the quotations rare matchup of the evening. Bedman versus Ram. How often can you say that you've watched this one? There aren't that many Ram players in Europe, but even fewer Bedman players. Right, so like we said earlier, Civ does have a couple of different characters, maybe even more than a couple of different characters that she has played during her Guilty Gear Strive career. I would say the Sin and the Ram are the ones that I've seen most from her. So this is probably the, I guess if you put the characters in order, maybe the secondary character, or the, yeah, I wonder which character is stronger for Civ. I guess it's still the Sin, right? And of course, Flowermouth, aka Aggro, we've had on Bounty Hunters a couple of times before. With that familiar Bedman, I actually want to check before the players get into the lobby. What is Aggro's record so far? Wait, we only had her once? I could swear there was at least 2 games. All right. Well, it's 1 W and nothing else. Pretty good foundation to build on. Although we have had quite a few different Bedman players as of late. I keep saying that Bedman, the most rare matchup, but then when you have a burst of that player showing up on a short period of time, it doesn't feel like it's you know, that rare anymore. I think compared to Bedman, like Sol is way more rare of a character on Bounty Hunters at the moment. And Sol in general, how often do you see Sol nowadays, by the way? Since all of the combo routes changed and the clean hit Fafnir became like the optimal combo routing that is kind of hard to hit. I've seen way fewer and fewer Sols as of recent. Sol players are a little cursed in a way that they've had to relearn the character's routes for so many times in a row. It's like I jumped off that boat at the first remake point, which was it during season 1 or was it already season 2? I think it was somewhere around season 1. I can't remember because I took such a long break between like season 1 and season 3. That the timeline is a little fuzzy in my head. The fact of the matter is that I think Sol has been the most remade character, at least as far as combo routes go on Guilty Gear Strive so far. I guess overall maybe the most remade characters, because like Vanilla Sol used to be a completely different character. The like 6S was a god button, and when they remade Sol to be a little bit more pressure oriented instead of being like a jack of all trades, the Vanilla Sol almost resembled the modern Kai, right? You were one of the characters with best neutral pokes in the form of 6S. Then you had some of the best pressures as well, because Farslash didn't push back very much. Overall, FD didn't push back as much as it does in the modern versions, and I think there was some junk with how throws functioned, or was it just the FD? Either way, Sol was just complete beast of a character in the first iteration of Guilty Gear Strive. And then they sort of molded the character to be the Sol bad guy that we know and love from the previous iterations. A rushdown powerhouse, strike throw at close range, not a neutral-oriented characters by any means. Took the power away from all of those, you know, far-range pokes and put it, sort of distributed that potential into his combos instead. And I guess the pressure as well. I mean, the pressure hasn't changed that much. It's always been top-notch. Alright, Civ having a couple of technical difficulties, so we have to restart the computer, but that's fine. We can keep talking smack. Although, I'm not very familiar with the matchup, I must say. Don't often see... Well, to begin with, don't often see Bedman, but the newest iteration of Ram is as well a little obscure, a little fuzzy. I mean, Ram has been one of the like more remade characters as well. Her flip kick has been basically like a victim of back and forth. Sometimes it's been minus, sometimes it's been punishable, sometimes it's, you know, just plus on block. Its function has changed so many times during the development cycle. And again, in this patch, I think it's once again punishable on block. The thing is that you often play it with stuff that would get you an advantage in the end. So like, for example, if you throw a sword, then flip kick, of course the opponent will have to try to react to the flip kick, but then the sword is gonna explode afterwards, so it's not like you get to have your turn afterwards. And then the sword, how swords function, and especially how they can be retrieved, has been changed so many times. In the current iteration, there is no way to get the swords back through any other means than breaking the wall, which is still like I've heard arguments from many people that Ram is still quite powerful because she can force those swords back by breaking the wall. So arguably, you know, it's when she throws the sword, it's a powerful resource, but it also gives you a very good chance of breaking the wall if you're in the corner, for example. But there is no longer a panic button to just get your swords back, because Calvados just doesn't work like that anymore. In fact, you can't even use Calvados if you're missing swords, as far as I can remember. But a lot of that, a lot of potential has been added for Ramlethal for mid-screen play, because she didn't used to be the strongest when facing the opponent on the side of the screen where you're back against the corner, right? So unless you're being aggressive on the opponent's side of the screen, you usually didn't have a lot of hit confirms unless you use some sort of RC conversion. Far slash, 5 heavy, end combo would be something like you would have to be content with. And pressure-wise, you wouldn't get that much value for throwing swords mid-screen, right? But now you can use that resource that is the swords. You can throw those swords, force your opponent into a guard crush, and force your opponent in a position where you can attempt to mix them up, even if you are on the less advantageous side of the screen for you. All right, I think we have Civ in the room already, or finally, so we can get this show on the road. Wait, hello? I'm pressing buttons. This button? Scrolling through every single possible scene. All right. That out of the way. We got Civ on Ram. We got flowermouth on Bedman. And let's see how it's gonna go. Of course, Bedman does have some long range capabilities, but definitely nothing to write home about when it comes to like comparing to Ramlethal's mid-long range poking capabilities. What Bedman wants to do is get the error rolling and try to force your opponent in a situation where they have to block the error, then loop guard crush. Kind of same kind of gameplay as Johnny and Goat Lewis in a way, but a little harder to get there. Has to jump a couple, or rather the hoops that Bedman has to jump through are a little more difficult. There, tried to go into the loop there, but Civ, vigilant, ready to press the button. Oh, tried to press it again here. However, the spacing, or rather maybe even the timing, favoring flowermouth. With the arrow rolling. Do we get the anti-air? Yes, the jump slash. Vacuuming the opponent into a big combo. Hail Mary. Calvados is gonna burn a lot of life. Was that a hit? I think it was a hit, right? Because otherwise, Flowermouth would have been able to use that massive amount of resources they had for the FD block. Right, throw the sword. Deflect shield, nice. Pushing the opponent away. If you can nullify the sword mix-up somehow, you would love to do so. Also, howdy people from Scatterstream. We are on the second last matchup of the evening. This is Civ Ram versus Flowermouth Bedman at the very early stages of the match. Ooh, predicts the burst from coming out. And Civ closes out the first one in a very flashy manner.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Of course, if Bedman gets you in the corner in that error loop, I think he's one of the stronger characters in the game. But it takes a lot to get there, for sure. The set play is beautiful, the combo damage is often beautiful, especially followed up by how much risk it's gonna build when you are in that loop. But look at this loop! Look at this loop from this character! Was there a cross up there at some point? Or what was the hit that Civ actually scored there? The sword exploding at the delayed timing. And Flowermouth was not blocking that one. Starting the round with a fully charged White Wild Assault. One of the premium ways of trying to bully your way in when the neutral is a little bit too hard to manage. Glow slash starter. Able to start the error timer, which will be interrupted if you block something, right? So not just getting hit, but also on block, you lose that opportunity to unleash the big error. It would be kind of nutty if you could maintain that error, because that would basically be a guaranteed combo breaker. We don't want a new Zappa after all, do we? Cash out into Calvados, that should be enough damage. Bam, bam, bam. One of the harder hitting supers in the game still. Even though the damage of that super has been tuned down, it still has a lot of potential for finishing the rounds when you have the swords ready to go. I mean, that's a reasonable extra amount of cash out that you can have, because I think it's even one sword if you throw out. Does that prevent you from using it? Or is it like both swords? I kind of forgot. Maybe it's like if you have one sword, it does only so much damage, and without both swords, you just can't use it. Into 1, 2, 3, and as we discussed, Ramlethal is gonna get the swords back on the wall break, so that is something to consider for how she utilizes her external resources. And you can think about the swords as a two-stock resource. Very, very powerful one as well. Right, guaranteeing plus frames here. In the Moran patches, White Wild Assault not plus even on charge. You would have to press your RC button to make it so. Oh, and finds the frame trap into a big 6 heavy. That was with swords as well. So that would have been a damaged city in that side of the round, or that side of the stage. Look at that. One of the biggest advantages of Ramlethal, that big mid-range poking range. Far slash, 5 heavy, both really good. 2S as well. We got the rock too. If the distance is a little bit further, there are so many ways that this character can attempt to, initiate neutral against you. And here we go, pushing towards the corner. Flowermouth knows the power of this character. With both of those swords intact, we don't want to be locked in the corner, but eventually it's gonna happen. Throw the other one. Nice block on the overhead. And able to get out of there. When the sword should be coming back in a moment, we can throw it again. Ooh, so nasty. What was that? FRC on the sword throw and then playing like an instant overhead kind of beat was that? Simppi taking rounds left and right really, really fast. And Flowermouth at the moment sort of struggling getting any sort of game plan started. Understandably so though, because the range, the active, the aura range of or like the active range of Ramlethal is. Oh, who was able to get the 6-speed just before the bomb head goes active? A tragedy. However, flowermouth getting a rare glimpse of success here. Time to get the guard crushes here. White Wild is of the guarantee that the time is spent, or rather, the time is spent opponent blocking, and wow. Even despite the new tracking of the head bomb, isn't that it's always gonna push the head bomb like rather far away? So if your opponent is too close, it would be a dead zone kind of situation. From the sword explosion, what's it gonna be? Strike throw, high-low. From the jump slash, transitioning into the jump, D was probably hoping for a YRC, getting a blue RC instead, and unfortunately, in that kind of situation where the opponent already has active stuff coming out, you're not going to be able to utilize that slowdown at all. Civ still, flipping the position, lots of meter for flowermouth. But from the range that Nagoriyuki Ram is fighting, it's kind of hard to use those resources defensively. YRC very prone to whiffing due to the ranges where Ram fights from. And same deal with the reversal super. And I think during guard crushes you can't YRC either. You would have to wait for the guard crush to end before you can unleash it. So in a lot of these situations, you actually do have to block the initial thing correctly first. Deflect Shell still not pushing far enough away the flip kick, bringing Civ into the active range. But now flowermouth has stored a successful error. Ooh, a little too far away, even with the buff to the tracking. It's not gonna fly across all full screen. One more sword to be utilized here. Big frame trap into 6 heavy. You're gonna go through the wall. Like shield, but again, the flip kick is what gets Ram back in there. FRC. Ooh, late air backdash or empty low kind of a beat there. Still anybody's game. However, we got that sword back and throwing it as a neutral option. And even if that sword initially whiffs, it's kind of like installing a ticking time bomb on the ground. At that point, there's nothing you can do about the explosion, right?
Duel 1.
You would have to trade into it. I mean, it was a meme at the start of Season 4 that you couldn't even trade into it because it would just still explode and you couldn't do anything about it. You can trade against it and win against it, but if it's planted on the ground, it's gonna stick there and it's gonna explode. And if it's placed in front of you in the corner, what option do you have? Once again, really nice read there for Civ. Setting up the corner position. Look at that good 6P. You're gonna go for a ride, even though it's 6P and even though it's quite prorated, still getting a very respectable amount of damage as well as wall break out of it. Running into the 6P again and then reading the burst. Civ has the time of her life here. Everything is going in her favor, it feels like. Every RPS read, every interaction. The Beyblade doesn't combo successfully, so Civ getting a clean punish here. Trying to utilize the lightning follow-ups. Ooh, that was a daring flip kick out of the sky. You kind of use that as a sort of a dive kick kind of a move. And does it successfully during flowermouth's install super as well. Hit confirm, 1-2 into super. That's an OTG though. Still does a lot of damage. Fully charged White Wild Assault. Getting a combo for flowermouth, and now guard crush, got the backdash. Ooh, got an actual successful combo out of that. Great on flowermouth, successfully hit confirming. Baiting out the super. There we go. Finally getting success on these interactions and RPS situations. I mean, arguably, if you're playing fighting games and you never guess right, it's impossible to win, no matter like what the player skill level difference is. Again, with the late air backdash overhead option out of the sword toss, guard crush. Ramming herself forward with the guard crush. Opponent is in the air, lots of blast frames. Into it we go, and another one! Was that was a 6 heavy, which is, 6 heavy is the overhead, so that was an overhead mix-up during the guard crush. FRC, sword is on the ground, so this is a, you would think it's a small opportunity of window, but YRC here, plus 10 for Civ, and the sword is already coming back. Don't matter, we go through the wall, both swords back on the pelt. But now, ooh, wait a second, Civ is really close to a burst, has to go for it immediately, does do so. Calvados, is it gonna hit? I think checkmate. No, it actually doesn't kill. I thought because flowermouth has such little amount of tension left that there was no way of surviving it even on block. But apparently maybe the early hits of the beam actually ended up whiffing? So you only connected with so many hits there in the end. Alright, first successful game for flowermouth. The way is up from here on out. And the first wall break here. 50 meter ready to go with it. And both the swords are ready as well. Ooh, nice angle! Able to put the sword on the ground. The sword does not actually reach flowermouth. 2k, no hit confirm. I mean, it wasn't a hit either, so I guess safer to say no confirm into any cancels. Flipping the positions, that was definitely not flowermouth wanted, but then salvaging the situation, ramming herself through the fire and the flames and the swords and everything. YRC to make a stop, sort of put a stop on the guard crush loop of flowermouths. Here's my own guard crush loop. I can do it twice, and then we got the we got the stone as well, being utilized for the first time when the swords are not available. When Fabio is not available that weekend, call the stone instead. Ooh, chose to start the round there with a 6p. Understandable for, you know, far slash, as well as 5 heavy. Actually, 5 heavy from Ram does beat 6Ps, I think, because it hits slow enough. It's the YRC. It's the other sword is coming back, so we have another opportunity to go for a guard crush if we manage to land something. Ooh, now that's a punishable. However, 2P into Beyblade, misses the hit confirm, gets punished herself, and now has to work this corner against 2 sword Ram. Break it! Bring the swords back! This is a hard knockdown as well. We do have options. Deflect Shield is the one. We play first, and then the YRC. Oh, but she wakes up with that throw! Too much respect there. It was a Ram with 50 meters, so understandably, there were a lot of things that Civ could have done here. Either the reversal super, could have tried to go deflect shield as well, could have tried to go for a gold burst, or even a regular blue burst. There was a lot of stuff you had to think about there. So that was probably what made flowermouth hesitate for a moment. Now early through the wall we go once again. 6P works out so well. One of the best 6Ps in the game. Really great horizontal reach, but I think most importantly, the convertibility for Ram. As bait, a little late there with the punish on 6P. Sorry, 6 heavy. I think 6 heavy starts a little too slow, or maybe because the lack of swords, you didn't have the frame data that you wanted. All right, the loop is working out. If we can unleash the 6P, and then the guard crush, another malfunction. The error is ticking, but we got anti-air, so the error loop has been broken. Yeah, unless you have like meter to spend in the middle of your loop, it's kind of hard to keep that up. Unless you're like in a perfect cornered position. But like to be able to not only corner the opponent, but also to make sure that you have your guard crush error rolling. It's hard to have those everything happen at the same time. There we go. Now we're spending the 50. Oh, but Sim finds a really nice time to jump out of there. So the bomb head will not be scoring any guard crushes today. And a big cash out, that's not gonna quite be the kill. But through the wall, hard knockdown. Again with that multi-hitting overhead. And then the overhead with the flip kick. Another guard crush we have to defend against. Oh, that's maybe good. Now the swords are on the ground for now. Try to go engage with the flip kick, jump slash. Getting flowermouth in a really good position again. Jumping out of the guard crush. Coming down with that classic jump heavy. Was that... Don't tell me that was a cross-up position either. That looked so nasty, that angle. I swear, if that was not blockable with just holding back, I swear. Alright, but flowermouth now in a little bit of a bad spot. Very down on rounds and just kind of struggling to get things started. Even when you get the arrow rolling, it feels like Civ is just an impenetrable wall of defense. Always having the anti-airs on point. Ooh, but that time, big counter hit. Again, the 6P always! It's been like such a consistent option for putting an end to that guard crush loop that flowermouth wants to play. We got meter. Yep, make sure that plus frames. More the battle, such a long range reversal as well. You would think at that range, no, DPs are not a thing. But Ram, if it costs meter, it better have good features attached. Surely this time. Guard crush, deflect shield, yeah? Able to maintain the distance. We got the wrong error rolling, but then with the use of malfunction, we create the one that we actually want. And if you let the malfunction rock, or rather, if you can land the malfunction on block or on hit, just like that, you're gonna get the favorable error that you're always looking for. Right, the second sword finds its target. Sim with the 50 meter. Again, look at that 6P timing on that jump D. The jump D, isn't it? It doesn't kind of have like a dive kick function of sorts. Able to throw, not quite. Maybe playing it safe because that wide assault came from such a long distance. And that'll be it. Civ, with really confident ram play, able to consistently disassemble the attempts at playing Bedman. It's like most of the time when you would actually get the bomb head error rolling, it was flowermouth trying to sort of engage from an aerial angle, which is just a no-no zone because Ram's 6P is just so good. It was over and over again that a 6P denied the advancement. And you can only have so much meter available so often if you want to force the guard crush loop. Really tough to play, it looks like. But yeah, Ram definitely looking like a new character this patch. Does kind of similar strong things that Ram used to do, but from slightly different positions and slightly different way. Very informative, QK, very informative. Right, we've reached the last matchup slot of the evening. This is gonna be BlackRaven and Leif. One more Baiken for the road is gonna be Baiken Sin. Once again, Sin, such a popular character in France. Lots of players of all skill levels, playing this character. I bet lots of homies cheering up on Leif once again as he's facing off one of Finland's Baiken army. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you are. There are always an army of Baikens to be faced. Very, very popular character, as many of you might have realized along the ever since that the character was released. Certainly one of the crowd favorites. And she's relatively strong as well in modern patches. Definitely worth playing. I think like at the end of season 3 she was in a relatively tough position, but then has been gotten some really needed quality of life changes again, and she seems to be back on track. Not anymore at the bottom of the tier list, as some have put it. Speaking of tier lists, this character Sin Kisk is one of the characters to beat this patch, as they say. Lots of good changes for our hungry boy. Primarily being able to force a lot of guard crush situations no matter what you connect on block. As long as you have the stamina to burn, you can make nasty situations happen. And that goes for hit confirms as well. Sin has always been that character in Guilty Gear franchise where it doesn't really matter what you connect and at what range, there's usually gonna be a really good conversion for you. Like case in point, many characters in Guilty Gear franchise don't really score full combos at the tip of their far slash range. But Sin has always been the anomaly that converts extremely well, and he does it in this iteration of Guilty Gear Strive by having the 2 stamina. Going to Beak Driver, going to Beak Driver follow up, and now you can pick it up with Close Slash or other similar buttons. Always having almost a 50% life damage combo, no matter where you start your hit, as long as you have those 2 stamina. But let's see how it's gonna go. So Sin is another character who is pretty good at keeping Baiken out. Definitely has the longer active range. And good interactability with Baiken's buttons as well. 2S is great. Also a really great DP against a lot of, or rather some of the cancels that Baiken could play. If you cancel into too heavy on block, it's really hard for you to be safe against Sin's DP because it's so fast, reaches so far. You would have to cancel into something really specific, into really obscure things that some Baiken players might not even be aware of that they can do. But into an FRC mix? Can you see this? Instant air dash calls out Beak Driver. But here comes the elk hunt. First hit, unable to burn the stamina, and Close Slash for the same, not quite reaching high enough, but we get into our 1 stamina combo, and then at the end there, looming the big reward, Tyrant Barrel. Yeah, and in the modern batch, that kills, right? I love you, Sin Kisk. 40% life left, and of course, as long as you have Tyrant Barrel, it's gonna do enough. Tyrant Barrel is one of the hardest hitting supers in the game, if not even the hardest hitter at the moment. I can't think of another super that wouldn't be like a 100-meter spender, such as like Last Horizon or Sin's RTL, that would deal more than Tyrant Barrel just as a combo ender. In the cool combo, because we had the the tether attached. 1, 2, 3 through the wall. How are we gonna approach it from here? I forgot if Baiken has a safe jump against Sin. I think the instant air dash jump heavy is a safe jump. Because like, why would you do that unless you can't beat 9 framers? That would be quite the risk. Reversal at the perfect timing. I think that's not gonna kill though. Unless we spent the 50 meter, or rather the 100 at the end there. Yeah, another really great change for Sin in the recent patches is that he's become like way more sturdy than an average character. Sin has always loomed in sort of a Kai-like spot in terms of effective health. But now he's kind of surpassed Kai and gotten to a soul plus kind of status. Like, he's actually quite sturdy. which is extremely powerful if you consider how his game plan works and how you sometimes have to stall for time, maybe by blocking pressure so that you can get more stamina later. Speaking of the stamina, not willing to spend stamina on the initial elk hits so far. That time the spacing was good for BlackRaven though. To the other side with the drive-by Yozan. It's one thing, perhaps one of the most important things that you have to prime yourself for when Viking players will air dash over you and do that Yozan. It's kind of like, same kind of deal. Why would you play neutral if you can instant air dash jump slash in? Why would I use any sort of other pressure mechanisms if you can't block my, you know, cross-up Yozan? Go for the most simple option. Ooh, but good respawns there, mashing with a close slash. However, look at that BlackRaven, ready to throw that on reaction. Wait, that was a... Was that a beak too, actually? This time it should be enough. Reversal super works out for BlackRaven. 2 in the bag. So far, so good for BlackRaven. All of the interaction situations are going very much in his favor so far. And getting the best of Leif, even in some really obscure RPS situations, such as like throwing the special follow-up there during that round. Ooh, a really great idea there on the shimmy, but the backdash just took Leif a little too far away from BlackRaven. 6P choosing to not cancel, that's understandable. It would use a lot of stamina there if you actually wanted to make any sort of successful confirm out of the 6P, which would require you to have RTL as well, so I think I agree with that no cancel. Into a throw. This is going to be a combo if BlackRaven wants to take it. Yes, indeed. Prompting a burst from Leif while he's still in the positive. Got the backdash, but doesn't choose the combo route perfectly. Ooh! I was almost like, is that jump K actually going to hit? But the close slash from Raven. The perfect tool to call out call out Sinki's coming down with jumping buttons, because remember, this is one of the shallowest jumping characters in the game, so Sink kind of struggles against any sort of anti-air. Even like crouching opponents are very hard for him to hit. All right, here comes the first stamina burn. BlackRaven chooses very patient burst position, making the opponent spend the 2 stamina before unleashing the burst. We're at a low stamina situation. Can we get the throw? Nope. Here comes BlackRaven. Initial hit, successful. Attach the wire, and then the mix. Empty close slash from the front. Again, able to trade this time, coming down with the jump K, and then from the struggle, from the scramble situation, able to get a 2P 5-framer out just in the nick of time. Engaging. Ooh, interesting. So raw tatami mat into, or rather a meaty tatami into a jump, into an S-kabari. Evades the explosion radius of that gold burst there. Unfortunate, but at least we didn't get punished. Here we go with the, no BNB. Maybe Leif was a little unsure if that was close enough to go into the DP BNB. Right out of there. Yes, indeed. That drive-by cross-up Yozan. Of course you would use it. Goes for a super right away. Leif respect. Yes, indeed. And the punish. Ooh, never mind. There was a 100-meter cancel. The old sage wisdom. If we are reaching towards the end of the round, if I am at the back foot and I have 100 meter, why should I not? Why should I not unleash it? There's absolutely nothing that the opponent can usually do about it. Super PRC. You can check if it lands initially, and if not, oh, just go for the RC. And if the opponent tries to super back, you should have enough time to RC still post flash. The 6B prorate's a little bit too much to be able to go for the BNB. Still working with the corner. Jump BP prevents Raven getting out of there and gets tagged by 2S. Prompting Raven to spend the burst here. Pushing towards the corner. 6P actually, that was a hard hit confirm because it looked like it might hit. The delay there, I love that. That's the BNB RPS against the reversal parry. If you want to cash out with the biggest numbers, wait just a little bit and then unleash your close slash. Close slash is going to be the biggest starter after all. So first really successful round here for Leif. For Raven, ooh, nice 6P in the middle of all of it. Force the guard crush situation. Good reaction from Raven, able to tech the throw, but to the double jump to the other side. And now, with the mechanics of the tether, Leif says no, not this time. Ah, misses the BNB conversion. And BlackRaven with the great prediction ability knows that the burst was gonna come out there. Leif wanted to play that corner position. Wanted to play it so bad. I think had also stamina still left to spend as well. And now from plus frames, good interruption. Once again, it's a little hard to look at that. I love that. I love 6P hit perks in Guilty Gear. Do we have Tyrant? Yes, indeed we do. Flowing well for Leif this time around. And now I think Sin no longer has the jump forward, jump heavy option. Since Viking can, from a successful long-range parry, just dash forward, so there's no reason to try to bait the parry. Just play the RPS instead. Dash in and play the strike, throw, or delay RPS. Damn, we're gonna get one more spectator DC for the road. Try to... So much to do. But yeah, Leif does open it up with one win for his name. This could be the momentum breaker. This could be the swinging point. I think the players noticed as well, so we're gonna sandbag out of the match. Let me, before I forget, before I start talking too much smack between the rounds, let's get the players out of there. But hopefully that's gonna be the last DC of the week. We're nearing the end after all. Potentially only a couple of games left. And luckily, Leif has got a little bit of wind under his sails. Definitely having the opportunities, having the hits, finding the necessary starters. I think it's always been the biggest problem for Leif is has been the consistency he's been able to hit confirm hits. I think if Leif can somehow hit confirm successfully every single hit that he finds consistently, he's gonna be like couple of skill tiers higher easily. Sin is that kind of character as well, that if you have your combo routes on point, you're gonna do so much damage on the opponent that you... Best rounds, you need only 2 touches after all. I think Sin didn't used to be that kind of character, but now with the ability to spend a lot of a lot of stamina per conversion, he can definitely do it. It means though that there is going to be a momentum breaker usually between those hits, so you would have to spend 2 stamina, then recover back to 2 stamina, and then do the same combo again to get those 2 touches. But it's certainly feasible, and it allows Sin to sort of be... Ooh, that's a big one! Goes for an interesting combo as well. I actually wanted to see what kind of a combo Leif would cook from that. But of course, theoretically, a very good point for BlackRaven to burst for that counter hit the counter hit Elk2 is such a destructive starter, especially in the corner. Now, little lack of stamina here, which can be often fixed with the use of tension. A little bit of a rough patch in the connection there looking. Hopefully it doesn't affect the outcome of the game too much. Got the big driver, the S-Cup, but it gets there in time before, waiting perhaps for the burst, but Leif smartly delaying the burst just a little, and here's the conversion. You can make this 2 stamina B&B conversion with other special moves as well. It doesn't matter if it's big driver, you can do it with Elk, you can do it with Hoof Stomp as well, which makes it so good. This reversal is gonna work out once again. BlackRaven has had a pretty keen sense for those reversal supers, and if they keep working out, why should you not keep making them? However, here's a great conversion. Is this actually gonna combo? Yes, indeed. And through the wall as well. 1 RPS choice away from taking this round. Jumpy once again is the option for trying to bring BlackRaven down from that RC corner situation, but unsuccessfully. There are a lot of different options that you could play in that situation where you RC and the opponent is in the air. One of the more common ones is going straight for the air throw, which would prompt your opponent having to do a throw break blindly, which you can then abuse if you play like a close slash on the landing instead. Just wait for your opponent to fall into your strike. Or you could try to go air to air as well with various different buttons. Ooh, the tail end of the S combo actually connects there. Leif having a successful DP, followed up by a reversal from BlackRaven as well. Look at my reversal. My reversal does more damage. Ooh, starting with a 6P. Successful hit. Big one. We can combo. With still stamina left in the tank, but now BlackRaven attached to S-Kabari. Ooh, brave interruption there with 2S. Utilizing the plus frames, +3 of the 6K. Going for more pressure, finds a close slash, and that's gonna be a kill for sure. Cool thing about Sin is that he's a very standard, very basic, but very effective kind of a strike throw character at close range. One of the best close slashes in the game, even though it's only +1. I would say Sin has really great follow-up options from that pressure. But now, BlackRaven's pressure turn. Leif is rocking with that full burst bar, which he probably will have to utilize here. Oh, BlackRaven is waiting for it! However, the patience on Leif, allowing him to save it. That's gonna whip! And the close slash anti-air, I love that! The DP still connects! I was unsure if it would. The jump PPP, only getting a small conversion here, tries to go for a throw. Yep, had to go for the burst immediately, otherwise it would have been over. No canceling the company there. And the gun! At the very precipice of the jump, at the most lowest angle, definitely is gonna connect with that close slash from Leif. Very scrambly situation, but often it ends up being the metered option that has the edge. Especially for these characters who have really good air supers. And I mean, it's not like the air gun is anything like, you know, Geo's dive kick super or anything, but it's still a decent way to try to bait the anti-air attempts from the opponent. Good timing on the burst, making the opponent spend the 2 stamina and then burst so that they end up in the corner. Are we good here? The delayed Yozan, this time the 6P works out. Full stamina bar once again. Nice whiff punish on that 2S. That is not an easy thing to do either. I think it wasn't the true punish, but as long as you, like, even if you get to take your turn away from Sin after whipping that 2S, that is actually big. One more hit, break the wall, and it's yours. Oh no! The close slash covers both the cross-up and the non-cross-up situation. I think Leif ended up accidentally putting himself to the other side. Lots of things happen in fighting games. Close slash into DP. I think that was Leif trying to get the get the SDP out on wake up, but ended up getting it after the close slash as a cancel. 6P jump, sees the availability of the jump. Getting out of there. Strikes like a shark from a low angle. That Elkan is surprisingly good tool against Baiken trying to jump. In the previous matchup, we were talking about Nago catching Baiken from the air tatamis, but Sin can kind of do the same with Elkan. Oh, that's a big one. Yep. BlackRaven knows that would have probably been the end of the round, and now he can still fight with a life advantage, and does it successfully. 7-1 here. Life definitely down in games. But what about the fighting spirit? Is the spirit broken yet? Or are we gonna have a follow-up still? Last chance to last chance to try to fix it up on the mental side of things. Last chance to take a little bit of a breather. Last chance to arrange your thoughts before it's probably gonna be a long gauntlet for that 7 wins, if that universe is about to manifest. And I mean, we've seen great comebacks from Leif so far on Bounty Hunters, some of which just absolutely blew my mind, and it's always after this last breather. I think it's the signature Leif breather that he likes to take, and I think a breather that many players should take as well. Because like unless your spirit is already broken, it's sort of hard to accept that, all right, I need to slow down here. I still have a chance. Give myself the best chance to win still. And a lot of amazing things can happen. Let's see if we have what it takes to break the momentum here. Ooh, what a 2D. That's footsies if I've ever seen any. Once again, BlackRaven ready to break the throw from the guard crush situation. Stagger into a throw. An OTG glow slash will be countered by the reversal parry from Baiken. Go back to the basics again. The 2D catching the backlash from Sin. The DP is... it's not too bad of an outcome. If you get punished by the tail end of Baiken's bar slash, you're probably gonna take that. Wow, BlackRaven actually had the timing to break that premature cancel into Tyrant Barrel. Amazing. That's still not gonna give him the win here. It looks like the fighting spirit is definitely not broken on Leif's side. And look, wow, what? Vacuums Baiken to the other side? I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen a lot of hoof stomp round starts in my time, but never have I seen Sin switch sides with the opponent. That's quite something. From the plus frames, yep, ooh, that was a very committed dash in. To the other side, ooh, that's actually in Leif's favor. Putting BlackRaven now in the corner. Tried to elk under, no sir, not this time. The driver just barely misses. I kind of like that, because a whiffed beak driver is a lot of recovery frames, so you could feasibly dash in on the opponent, press a button, or maybe even, if you're really sneaky, getting the throw. Speaking of being sneaky, cross the opponent with the heavy cabaret follow-up. There we go, there's the taking advantage of the recovery of the beak driver. Beak driver is a big tool, but it can't whiff, and it has a lot of recovery. Now Leif on the last life point. Forced the situation. No, there is no throw from the opponent. I think it was played like 2 or 3 times, and this time Leif was trying to shimmy it with a backwalk, but no response from the opponent. Only an RC. BRC at that as well. I didn't expect that, and probably Leif didn't either. That is BlackRaven taking the set 7-1. With really great counterplay on some of the more commonly occurring Sin RPS situation. I think BlackRaven was able to win every single 2 stamina guard crush situation, technically. I mean, I definitely consider breaking the throw on the post guard crush an RPS win. Because you go back to neutral, and Sin having spent 2 stamina, which is kind of big. It takes a lot of time for the stamina to come back, so it's kind of like baiting like 1.5 bars of blood from Nagoriyuki, or 2 bars of blood from Nagoriyuki, or something like that. Basically same impact. But yeah, it is gonna be Raven taking the set today. Yeah, I was actually talking about the Beak Driver RPS and how you dealt with it pretty damn well. That is cool. Because I think a lot of players, even at higher skill levels, have like a very shaky game plan for a situation that could, in worst case scenario, occur like 1 to 3 times per round. I guess the average is like maybe 1.5 times. I'm just pulling a number out of my ass, but Sin definitely has the capability of forcing that guard crush multiple times per round. If you don't have a counterplay of any sort against it, if you're just gonna hold it, block, and not do anything, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot against Sin, because that guard crush is so available this patch. Alrighty then. We have reached the ending point of our weekly show. And it was a lot of back and forth sets as well, especially almost all of the sets early game super even. And many of them ended up super even in the end as well. Now, let us see what's available as far as raid targets go. I'm taking, of course, potential suggestions if you know good places to perhaps raid. Ooh, there's a new beginner bracket that I haven't seen very often. Moth beginner bracket number 2. Sounds like a potential thing to check out. It's really cool when people have the when people commit to providing content for even the rookie level players. I mean, we have a lot of intermediate brackets, we have a lot of open brackets already, but the beginner brackets, not so many, to be perfectly honest. And it's really great to nurture a community of rookies, because like a lot of those people are gonna soon become intermediates, and some of those people are eventually, they're gonna stick with the game so far that they become like not just great members of the Strive community, but overall fighting game players, just general members of the FGC as time goes by. All right, let's go for a raid on the beginner bracket tournament. Yeah, no problem. I'm extremely happy to provide for not just the players, but also the viewers. This is my passion after all. I would rather not be doing anything else than this on a Sunday afternoon. All right. Raid target has been locked. You know the deal. If you want to sign up for the next one, you can join my Discord. Get the sign up forms over there. We'll set you up with a good match, hopefully of your respective skill level, and a good connection as well. But that'll be all for us for tonight. Thank you all for watching. See you next Sunday, same time, 5 p.m. CET. Till then, stay safe and play Guilty Gear. All right.